Hello, hello. Hi. Happy Tuesday. Hello. Hey, K-Reezy. Hello, Smog Dog. Hello, Robert. Hello, Rapper. Hello, hello. I was having issues. Sorry my intro took forever. Let me know. Do I sound good? How does it all look? Hello, hello. Welcome in. Hey, S-Dubs. What's up? We're back to Diddy. I know. You guys have probably seen it all over YouTube. I know. But I don't want to get behind on the Diddy case. I'm a little behind on Karen Reed. A lot behind, actually, on Karen Reed. But I'll get caught up. But I do. Thanks for being here, Kay. I appreciate you. And I know there's a lot going on. Oh, hey, Smog Dog. You're sweet. Thank you. No offense. I'm sick of Diddy. I know. Me too, but it's so intense. And I have not been able to keep up with the live coverage. So we're going to recap. We're just going to read through day 5 and 6. We're going to look through the photos, the evidence photos or exhibit photos, and then we're going to watch a few clips. But I know everybody's been playing Diddy too. So we're just going to get through it. I'm going off of CNN. I know a lot of people are doing inner city, thanks, Kate, inner city press or news. But I'm just going to read through the articles and then I want to watch a couple clips. I don't know who else has shown the photos, but there was some photos that I think were released today. But let's get started. Okay. Oh, my bad. So this is day 5. Hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome in. Let's see. CNN. I know people are iffy about CNN, but I actually like the coverage they've been doing on it. I know they have someone in there too, obviously. So this is day 5. So this is yesterday. Let's see. Witness testifies about Combs' hotel room and instances of violence. Here's a recap. Prosecutors caught 2 more witnesses before the end of today's testimony after Cassie Ventura. Yassine Binda. Here's a recap of each testimony. Binda is a Homeland Security Investigations special agent who works in the Human Trafficking Division at the department. She handled the logistics for Combs' arrest on September 16, 2024, and searched the room at the Park Hyatt where Combs was staying. This is day 5. I must have totally missed this. Baby oil and lubricant. The jury saw photos of 2 Ziploc bags, each filled with Johnson's baby oil and Astroglide, recovered from bags in an entryway closet. More bottles of baby oil and lubricant were found in the bathroom, on the nightstand, and elsewhere in the room, according to the photos and Binda's testimony. Okay, yeah, because those are the photos that we're going to look at. Medication. A bottle of medication was found in a Louis Vuitton bag on a nightstand in the bedroom, Binda said. I'm saying that right. The name on the bottle was Frank Black. When the label identified the medication as clonazepam, Binda said. 2 bags of pink powder, which tested positive for the K word, and MDMA were also recovered, she said. Cross-examination, Binda testified, and it appeared that a woman had been staying with him at the hotel. We did read some of Don Richards' testimony the last time we did a live. Richard is a former member of Danity Kane, a musical group formed by Combs as part of the MTV reality series Making the Band. Richard testified she saw Combs attack Ventura in 2009. She said Combs came into the kitchen where they both were and tried to hit Ventura with the skillet. Yeah, we did read that part. After the altercation, Combs dragged Ventura by her hair upstairs. Is it Richard or Richard? I know I've heard both. She said she heard glass breaking and yelling. Dawn said she didn't report the abuse because she was afraid and was scared to do anything in fear of what that might mean for me too. The next day, Richard said Combs asked her and another woman to come to his house, where he told them that what they witnessed was passion and what lovers do. Yeah, we did read that part. Judge will not require full witness lineup to be disclosed after prosecution raised concerns about tampering. Judge Submarinian has heated concerns from the prosecution about disclosing the order of their witnesses too far in advance, saying he will not compel the attorneys to release their full lineup for the next week. Prosecutor Maureen Comey has told Submarinian the prosecution is concerned about potential witness tampering or obstruction. The defense had argued they could better prepare exhibits for cross-examination if they knew the witness order ahead of time, but Submarinian ultimately said with the prosecution's concerns. The judge is now off the bench. Okay. Combs' trial will be a litmus test for the Me Too movement. Ventura's mom, okay, yeah, that's where we're at, will testify next week. Prosecutors and Sean's defense attorneys are now having a discussion about former Danity Kane singer Dawn. Earlier, Submarinian indicated they would sidebar over a defense objection to Richard's description of threats Combs made. Just before the judge dismissed the jury for the day, Richard, who worked for Combs in the mid-2000s, testified that after she and another female saw Combs attack Cassie, he encouraged them not to say anything about the assault. The next day, Combs asked Dawn and the other female, Kalena Harper, to come to his home. He brought them into a recording studio, locked the door, and told them that they witnessed was passion and what lovers do. Combs told them it was in our best interest if we didn't say anything, and that where he comes from, people go missing if they talk. He then gave them flowers, she said. Yeah. We are covering the Karen Reed trial. Yes, we are. Former Danity Kane singer says she didn't report abuse she witnessed because she was scared. Testified that after she witnessed the altercation in the kitchen, Diddy dragged Cassie upstairs by her hair and his arm around her neck. She said she had heard glass breaking and yelling. Dawn said she didn't say anything to intervene or call the police because she was afraid. She said she was scared to do anything in fear of what that might mean for her as well. Dawn said she worked for Diddy Combs from 2004 to 2011. The former Danity Kane singer said she knew Combs by the nickname Puff. She saw Cassie being attacked by Sean in 2009. That's the skillet assault. He proceeded to come over and took the skillet with the eggs in it and tried to hit her over the head with it. She fell to the ground. Special agent says it appeared a woman was staying with Combs' hotel at the time of his arrest. Yassine Binda, the special agent testifying in the Combs trial, testified that it appeared a woman was staying with Combs in his Manhattan hotel room before he was arrested in 2004. I'm sorry, 2024. Binda confirmed the detail when asked by defense attorney Tenny Garagos during cross-examination. Binda is now off the stand. The defense is now cross-examining the special agent involved in Combs' arrest. Prosecutor Madison Smizer has finished up her direct questioning of Special Agent Binda. Defense attorney Tenny Garagos is up to cross-examine Binda, who just testified about the search of Sean Diddy Combs' hotel room following his 2024 arrest. Jury sees cash found in Diddy's hotel room and inspects evidence of bag of rugs. Special Agent Binda testified that $9,000 in cash was found in a black fanny pack hanging off the bed in Combs' hotel room. The jury saw a photo of the fanny pack. At the prosecutor Smizer's request, Binda took the cash out of the fanny pack that was in the evidence bag, fanning it out for the jury to see. The jury also passed around an evidence bag holding 2 bags of Special K and MDMA pink powder that were found in the hotel room. Wow. Hey, Smart Dog. Thanks for being here. Hey, Maura Inc. Good to see you. It's been a while. Thanks for being here. We're just covering Diddy trial day 5, so this was yesterday. We're just reading through some of the articles, and then we're going to watch a couple clips and look at the photos. Let's see. Jury sees photos from law enforcement search of Diddy's hotel room. The jury is seeing images from the search of Diddy's New York hotel room after his 2024 arrest. These images were taken by Binda, the special agent currently testifying in the Combs federal criminal trial. The jury saw photos of the expansive Park Hyatt hotel room and Ziploc bags filled with Johnson's baby oil lubricant, which were recovered from bags in the entryway closet. More bottles of baby oil and lubricant were found in the bathroom and elsewhere in the room, Binda said. The jury saw a photo of the collected oils. The jury also saw a photo of a lighting device that was found in the living room. Binda said she would describe it as potential mood lighting. A bottle of medication with the name Frank Black was found in a Louis Vuitton bag on a nightstand in the bedroom. Binda testified. The label on the bottle said the medication was clonazepam. 2 little bags of pink powder were found inside another bottle of medication in a nightstand in the bedroom. Binda said the pink powder in one of the bags tested positive for Special K, and the other tested positive for MDMA and Special K, according to the stipulation read in court. We're going to look at those pictures. Oh, thank you, Smog Dog. I appreciate you. Thank you for gifting. Patty. Oh, Patty will be so happy she gets that membership. Thank you. She's a great friend of the channel. I appreciate that, Smog Dog. Thank you for being here, too. Yeah. Hey, Chief. Good to see you. Let's see. Thank you, Smog Dog. The next witness is a special agent who handled logistics for Sean Combs' arrest in 2024. Prosecution Madison Smizer is questioning Binda, a Homeland Security Investigations special agent who works in the human trafficking division of the department. Binda confirmed that she handled the logistics for Diddy Combs' arrest on September 16, 2024. She said she searched the room at the Park Hyatt where he was staying. Ventura's testimony was only one part of the case, former prosecutor says. I think this is just one part of the case. She is a linchpin, but it's not the entire case, and there will be other witnesses that will come in either to corroborate her testimony. There will be other witnesses that will corroborate these free thoughts and whether force was used or not. But she's definitely a very compelling witness because of the relationship she had with Diddy. Cassie is off the stand. We kind of already read the Cassie part on the last live. Cassie testified that she would give the settlement money back if it meant she never had to endure the freak-offs. Bursting into tears, Ventura continued, "If I had never had to have the freak-offs, I would have had agency and autonomy." Autonomy. Ventura said her and her kids moved into her parents' Connecticut home in 2023, and they were transitioning to live on the East Coast. The defense asked if she canceled her tour around that time because she was found out she was going to have $20 million civil lawsuit settlement. This week has been extremely challenging for Cassie. We read his statement, her husband's statement. Prosecutor wants to fit in 2 more witnesses this afternoon. Cassie reveals that she's set to receive about $10 million from hotel where she was assaulted. So she got $10 million from the hotel and then $20 million from Diddy. Cassie finishes testifying. Ventura says she was able to break ties with Bad Boy Records, but had to fight to get out of her contract. Defense attorney Stavio asked Cassie to confirm that Diddy Combs let her out of her recording contract when the relationship ended. I had to fight my way out of the contract, Cassie said, but acknowledged that eventually she was able to break ties with Bad Boy Records. Bursting into tears, Cassie says she'd give back $20 million if she never had to do a freak off. We just read that part. The defense is back up with new questions. Ventura says she basically felt like a SCX worker. Ooh. Prosecutor asked Ventura about instances when Combs said he couldn't remember the abuse. We read that already. Ventura testifies there were times when Diddy was kind, but those periods didn't last. Combs reached out to Ventura after they split, texting that he missed her and hoped she would forgive him. We already read the Cassie part. Why the defense may be asking about Ventura's mental health treatment. This is just recapping on Cassie. Ventura texted Combs, "I'm lost without you," in 2018. We did read some of those text messages in the last live. Ventura says she doesn't hate Diddy. I have love for the past, she says. Ventura says she was treated for PTSD. We already read all of the Ventura stuff. I don't know why CNN's going back on it. We already read Dom's. That was after Cassie. Hey, Jules. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm like behind on the chat. My bad. Thank you, Kay. Thank you for gifting. That's badass. Thank you. I appreciate you. Jahira got gifted. Chief. Welcome, Chief. Fem. I didn't see. Oh my God, I was over there reading. So distracted. Welcome to all the new members. Thank you, Kay. I appreciate you. That's awesome. Yay. Thank you, Jules, for being here. Just not fine. Ooh, that sounds good. We're doing Diddy, and then we might do Karen Reed. We are also following Karen Reed. Hey, Jenna Gypsy. It's good to see you. Welcome all new members. How exciting. Thank you, Kay, for gifting. I appreciate that. Okay, so that was day 5. I feel like they dipped me on some information on day 5 on CNN. Let me go to day 6. And then we're just going to watch some clips. This is just a recap, by the way. I'm not doing a deep dive on Diddy trial or anything like that. We're just recapping. So don't get your feelings hurt if you wanted like a deep dive. We're not deep diving that. We're still finishing Karen Reed. So if you're new to the channel, you just became a member, you do get After Dark access. And we pretty much just watch whatever and hang out and talk. But during the day, most of the time, it's true crime or deep dives, which I haven't done in a while because I'm trying to keep up with the trials. We have Karen Reed, we have Diddy, we have Brian Koberger, Idaho 4 coming up. I thought maybe Courtney Clenny, but I think that's going to be pushed back. And then what other trial? I think those are the 2 big ones that I'm trying to just keep up with. And hello, welcome all the new chatters. Good to see you, Jenna Gypsy. Hello, Sergey. Hello, Anida. After Dark, yes. Okay, let's move on to day 6. Hey, Abuelita's Journey. Good to see you. K Rocks. K does rock. K and Smog Dog have gifted tonight. So kind. Okay, so let's see. Day 6. I know names were dropped today. I believe, if I heard right, was President Obama dropped today? Because that's what I heard. Is that true? We're gonna watch that. I need to get caught up on this Diddy stuff. It's only on day 7 tomorrow, so really it's only today, the 2 days that we're covering. So I'm not really behind at all. But I did hear Diddy was dropped. Obama was dropped. I heard Neo was dropped. So we're gonna cover Law and Crime. I like their stuff too to cover, which is wild. I didn't think I'd be as into this trial. I've been covering the Diddy case on my channel, by the way. If you guys haven't checked out the playlist, make sure you check them out. Hey, Corey. And we have a Diddy playlist, so make sure you definitely check that out. I did cover it at the beginning a lot, document by document, but there's so many that I just stopped. Oh, thank you, Abuelita's Journey. You're so sweet. I appreciate you. Hello, Barry. Hi, good to see you. Thank you, Abuelita's Journey. She says, Abuelita's Journey says, enjoy a dirty chai on me. I will. I will tomorrow because I'm supposed to be going into work at like 3. Adrian. Hello, Rockin' Johnny. Okay, let's get started on day 6. But I did hear about Obama, so let me know what you think about that. That's really crazy. On time. Oh no, smog dog. Okay, let's see. I was gonna read off of CNN, but I feel like I just got played. I feel like it just got played. Am I wrong on the days that I'm on? No, I think I'm right. Gannon was in testifying on Wednesday. Okay. So we're gonna read is that right? Kid Cudi's gonna be testifying? No. No, no, no. I am shook. Okay, so let me pull up this article. I am shook. You liver hens? Why? Too many buzzballs? Let's see. Okay, it says Kid Cudi to testify as soon as tomorrow. Homeland Security Investigation Special Agent Gerard Gannon told the court that the AR-15 assault-style rifle receivers and ammunition that he testified federal agents discovered in Diddy's Miami Beach home were found on the same bedroom floor shelving unit as 7-inch platform heels and lingerie. He also testified the agents discovered a 30-round magazine containing 19 rounds as well as a full 10-round magazine. Court has recessed for the day. Gannon will resume testifying Wednesday when the jury is expected to see additional items that agents allegedly recovered from Diddy's Miami Beach home. Prosecutor Maureen Comey said the subsequent witnesses Wednesday will include Don Hughes, a psychologist who specializes in sex trauma, George Kaplan, a former Combs assistant, Kid Cudi, which is known as Scott Miss Cudi, better known as Kid Cudi, with whom Cassie testified she had a brief romantic relationship with Combs, and she testified Combs threatened because of it. Oh, whom she testified Combs threatened because of it. Diddy basically blew up Kid Cudi's car. Yeah. So what? Yeah, thank you, Jeff. It's crazy. Oh, it's a buzzball kind of night. Don't get me wrong. If you're up already, you better stay up after this Diddy live, and let's get to Karen Reed. It's just a car. What do you mean it's just a car? He blew it up. That is wild. Let's see. Jury says firearms allegedly recovered from Combs' Miami Beach home. The jury was shown assault rifles with defaced serial numbers that were discovered on the shelf inside the main bedroom of Sean Combs' Miami Beach home, according to a federal agent. The jury was also shown various GUN parts. These included a BCM brand upper receiver rifle part, which the agent testified was discovered wrapped in a towel, along with a red dot optic or sighting mechanism. A second upper receiver, make unknown, with an iron sight was found wrapped in the same towel, according to the agent. Also discovered inside of a box were 2 lower receivers and magazines, the federal agent testified. Okay, so we get it. Domestic violence, the firearms. Let's see. Upper receivers contain the assault-style rifle barrel, ejection port, and sights, the jury was told, while the lower receiver contains a trigger, pistol grip, the magazine well, and the rifle stock. The jury was shown how the serial numbers on both firearms were defaced. Homeland Security Investigations Special Agent Gerard Cannon cut open the evidence bags containing the actual items and held them for the jury to inspect. Could these lower receivers be connected to the upper receivers we were just looking at? Prosecutor Madison Smizer asked. Yes, they could, Gannon responded. The search of Combs' Miami home took an unusually large contingent of 80 to 90 agents. Due to the size of property and security measures on the property, testified Gannon. 80 to 90? It's a little excessive. The 20,000 square foot home, okay, yeah, that's hella big. At Two-Star Island is surrounded by walls and a gate in front, the jury was told, and all of those baby bottles, or baby oil bottles. So I'm wondering who else uses Johnson's baby oil aside from maybe females for tanning and Diddy. Like, I feel like Diddy was probably keeping them in business. Just kidding. They're a pretty big company. Hello, Miss P. Good to see you. Hey, one. Good to see you, Miss P. Back to this. Let's see. Let me know if you love baby oil in the chat, please. Combs, Los Angeles, and Miami's. Now, don't be dirty. Combs, Los Angeles, and Miami homes were raided by federal agents in March of 2024, according to the authorities. The jury saw a photo of the mangled front gate at the Miami property that Homeland Security investigations used as special vehicle breakthrough, which Gannon described as a standard practice when conducting a search warrant. The jury was also shown an image of the waterfront dock and pool. Coconut oil. Hayes testifies Ventura did not seem uncomfortable focused on Combs during alleged SCX encounters. On cross-examination, Hayes testified regarding a book he wrote about erectile dysfunction entitled In Search of Freezer Meat. So titled, he said, because what's harder than freezer meat? The remark prompted a smattering of laughter in the courtroom. I thought I was being played here with ABC News. I'm like, wait, that really happened? What's harder than freezer meat? He's testified that his book mentions his SEX encounters with Sean Combs and Cassie, but does not name them, describing them instead as a married, wealthy couple. He's also testified that he had danced semi-nude. Okay, so Hayes is the Punisher. Yeah, I think I just caught on. He's the Punisher. The SEX worker? Got it. We're going to watch a clip on that in a second. But I just caught on. I think, right? He also testified that he danced semi-nude or clad in a G-string bikini. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. In a G-string for hundreds and thousands of ladies during a 30-year career as an exotic dancer. Oh, that's what he was. My bad. An exotic dancer. Performances that sometimes included what he described as a professional dry hump. Hayes told the court that he began his career as an exotic dancer on Labor Day 1995 and noted that has a big anniversary coming up. Defense attorney Xavier Donaldson cross-examines male exotic dancer Sheree Hayes at Sean Diddy Combs' trafficking trial. When you're dry humping all these ladies, it's a job. It's not personal, right? Defense attorney Xavier Donaldson asked. Yes, Hayes responded. Oh man, all this dry humping, I had no idea. Yeah. I know the name. I know. That's hilarious. Okay, so yes, Hayes responded. You began to have feelings for Cassie, correct? Donaldson asked. That is incorrect, Hayes answered. Instead, he testified he felt special because Ventura had selected him from among the male dancers available for the encounters. Most of what I do is more fun, Hayes testified. I'm not trying to turn anybody on. This was very sexually natured, he told the court, referring to the alleged encounters with Ventura and Diddy. So it was different from my exotic dancing performances. Hayes testified that part of his job was to understand how his clients felt during his performances. He told the court he had believed Ventura was comfortable with the encounters between them. I didn't get any cues there was any discomfort there, Hayes testified, because if you had gotten cues, you wouldn't have done that, correct? Donaldson asked. That is correct, Hayes responded. Federal prosecutors contend that Ventura was coerced into the so-called sexual freak-offs under the alleged threat of violence or reputational harm from Combs. When you were performing oral on Cassie, it appeared to you that she was enjoying herself, correct? Yes, Hayes replied. After Sheree Hayes told the defense about one alleged quote-unquote steamy encounter with Cassie, during which it appeared to him she was having a good time, he told prosecutors on redirect that her focus during the alleged session remained on Diddy. At other times, you saw her wince, prosecutor Meredith Foster asked. Yes, Hayes answered, at some of the directions. And she would sigh? Foster asked. Yes, he said. There was a consistent awareness to Mr. Combs' direction and his perception and desires during the moment. Hayes' testimony is now complete. The next witness is a federal agent. The jury also is expected to be shown some additional physical evidence. Hayes testifies to sexy scenes he created with Ventura under Diddy's direction. Now I should be doing YouTube reading. Wait, what do you mean? Oh, hey, LaShawn. Yeah, they said dry hump. You did hear dry humping. Hey, Cat Randall. Hi, meow. You're funny. That's funny. Never crossed the dating line. Heck no. I don't want to get involved with no Diddy. Okay, let's see. During each of the 8 to 12 times Sheree Hayes claimed he was hired by Sean Combs and Cassie to create a sexy scene, he testified they went through a considerable amount of baby oil. Here we go. Back to the baby oil. It was preferred to keep our bodies covered. I guess the look of it to shine or whatever, Hayes told the court. It was implied and known by me to keep the bodies covered in baby oil. Hayes testified that each encounter began the same way. It was to create a sexy scene, but I understood it could escalate to more sexual activity, whether it was oral or penetrative, he told the court. It appeared to me at some point that this appeared like a fetish thing. According to Hayes' testimony, the rooms in which the alleged encounters took place were dimly lit and included candles. Sometimes music would play in the background, and the furniture was always covered in sheets, he told the court. Combs would eventually enter the room, sit in the distance, and give subtle directions to Miss Ventura's angles, lighting and positions, and sometimes activity, Hayes testified. Some of the directions at times were very specific in terms of move the candle again, position your body again, Hayes testified. Hayes told the court that at some point during the encounter, Combs would instruct him to finish. Finishing is me having an O, Hayes testified, adding that during those times, Combs would allegedly provide specific instructions in that regard. Hayes told the court that he was paid either $1,200 to $2,000 for each alleged encounter. That's it. According to Hayes' testimony, Combs normally kept his distance during the encounters, but he told the court about one occasion when Combs allegedly approached and threw some condoms at him. He presented the condoms and said, "I'm ready to see you F her," Hayes testified, adding that in that instance he could not perform. He told the court that was his last encounter with Combs and Ventura. Me personally, a scenario with a woman's partner present giving directions was not the norm for me, Hayes testified, adding that there were times that he would use Cialis, Viagra, and other ED substances. Anything that could help me perform, it was a lot of pressure. Yeah, the Punisher testifies about the alleged encounters and Combs watched. So his name is the Punisher. He came to know Diddy and Cassie in late 2012 after he was hired to create a sexy scene. Hayes testified that he advertised on a website and his phone number was on the website. He told the court that a female who went by Janet called stating it was her birthday and her husband said she could hire a dancer. Hayes testified that he was instructed to go to Trump Tower on Central Park West to perform a striptease. When he arrived, he testified that Ventura greeted him in a bathrobe with nothing on underneath and explained that she didn't want me to actually dance. Hey, Austin, you're late. Oh, where were you? Adrian, are you behaving? Hey, Chief. Dry humping, what's the point? Good question. Hey, dry hump all you want if that's what you like, baby. I don't judge you, but like Miss P said, what's the point? Dry practice? Wait, I do like the Netflix and chill. Not the Netflix and dry hump. Okay. Come on now. Back to Diddy. Okay, let's see. I don't mean to be rude either. Like, that's not very funny, right? Because this is the trial. It's a very serious case, a very serious matter. But we can have a little fun, right? We mean no harm. Just a good time. What? Instead, Hayes testified, let's move on. Instead, Hayes testified that the woman he knew as Janet said the woman he still knows, Janet, said she and her husband liked to create a sexy scene that included the application of baby oil while her husband watched. She allegedly handed him a stack of money that he counted in the bathroom, totaling $800. I was specifically told to not acknowledge her husband. Try not to look at him. No communication between me and him, Hayes testified. He told the court he did not recognize the man Ventura referred to as her husband, but came to learn in subsequent encounters that it was Diddy. The room was dimly lit, maybe electronic candles, Hayes testified. All of the furniture was covered in sheets, and there was an area pretty much for me to sit and for her to sit across from me. There were bowls of water and bottles of baby oil. During the encounter, Hayes testified that a man entered the hotel suite. Come again? Excuse me? What did I just hear? The man was nude, but I could not see his face, Hayes testified. So it was a nude male with a veil on. What I saw was a bottle of Astroglide he was carrying. He told the court that he used the product himself and recognized the purple cap. There was a table and chair, so he sat behind the table and chair, Hayes recalled in his testimony. I noticed at times he was baiting. Hayes testified that Combs spoke to Ventura during the 25 to 45-minute episode. It was mostly subtle directions. Move the light to the side. Move her body a certain way. Wow, Hayes testified. At some point, the man stood up and left the room. Miss Ventura followed him out. I sat there waiting on the couch, Hayes told the court. When Ventura re-entered the room, she asked me if I wanted to finish. I declined. I said I was good as long as they were happy. I was happy. She said that that's what we wanted, and I was handed additional money. It was an additional $1,200, according to Hayes' testimony. Hayes told the court that the couple called him another 8 to 12 times. Oh my God. How many times do we have to use? Yeah, I know. And I have to use all these code words, so don't think it's just me. Yeah, YouTube's like gonna get me. I'm gonna be the one in detention if I keep it up, Suspended belief. Yeah, no, I am shook. So what I'm getting at is, did he like to watch other men with his wife? Period. Pause. Maybe he liked to watch other men. Who knows? To each their own. But if he was alone in the room, I heard allegedly when Cassie was sleeping. What is going on? Why are you with the person in there? Cassie Ventura's mother testifies about disturbing 2011 email from daughter. I was physically sick. Regina Ventura testified that when her daughter Cassie was flying home from the holidays in December of 2011, she sent her mother and Diddy's assistant an email that Regina Ventura testified it made her physically sick. So yeah, her mom testified. Wow. And Obama was dropped too. Let's touch base on that. Am I not reading that part yet, or what, did I miss it? What happened with the president or former president? Like, what happened? I need to pull on. Is it just the pill thing? Or was he actually hanging out with Obama? Did he? Or was it just that Obama's face was on the pill? You guys heard about that, right? I don't know if I'll be reading that in this article. Or did they actually hang out? I know they were actually hanging out in some of the pictures that looked like what it was in a hotel room. I don't know. I'm just saying. I am just going based off of what my little pupils, my eyeballs see. Let's see. Okay, now I'm getting distracted because I wanted to get the tea on the Obama situation, but let's get back to the article. Oh, Obama face. Yeah, but there's some pictures of them too, right? Of them hanging out in detention. Yes, Kay. Detention. Shook. Let's see. The threats that have been made to me by Diddy is that he's going to release 2 explicit tapes of me, the email allegedly said, according to Regina Ventura. He also said he will be having someone hurt me and Kid Cudi, physically, referring to whom the rapper briefly dated. These drawings are they're good, but they're silly. I was physically sick. I did not understand a lot of it. The sex tapes threw me, Regina Ventura said. She further testified that Combs allegedly demanded $20,000 to recoup money that he had spent on Cassie. Wow, I'm rolling my eyes. Like, what? You abused her, you did all of this, and then you're still a lame and asking for your money back? Really, Diddy? Really? Maybe way back in the 90s. How sad. Now he be needing that $20,000, right? Ventura testified that she and her husband took out a home equity loan in order to satisfy Combs' alleged demand. We decided that's the only way we could get the money, Ventura testified. I was scared for my daughter's safety. She told the court that she allegedly received instruction from Combs' bookkeeper on how to wire the money and send it to him. The money was returned several days later, Ventura told the court. Regina Ventura also testified that she used a digital camera to take photos of what she described as bruises on her daughter's back, arm, and leg. She was bruised and I wanted to memorialize it, Ventura told the court. The jury had previously seen 2 of the photos but saw several more photos of multiple bruises. Ventura will not undergo cross-examination. That's her mom. That's her in the picture. Testified that she met Combs in 2006 when Combs signed with Bad Boy Records. Combs' former assistant David James testified to some of Combs' dietary preferences, recalling a time in London where Diddy would not be happy because the ketchup there was not the same as the brand he preferred. Ketchup was a big item he needed for his food, James told the court. Were you aware he put applesauce on cheeseburgers? Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo asked. I was not aware of that, but I knew he liked applesauce, James replied. What? I'm sorry. Applesauce on your burger? I feel like. Is this for real? It throws you for a loop. Hey, California. Worthless. Whoa. Who? Who loves ketchup as much as Diddy loves ketchup? Ketchup is okay, but generic ranch on me. Crisscross applesauce. Sorry, baby. I do not want applesauce on my burger. James purchased these food items through Combs' company, James testified, but he affirmed on cross-examination that he would use cash to purchase items such as baby oil, personal lubricant, and condoms. James also told the court about what he said were the demanding hours and sometimes questionable things he did during his employment with Diddy. He testified by way of example that he allegedly once purchased an 8-ball of Coca-Cola. You know what I mean? And Saint Tropez for a Combs associate. 7-day work weeks were common, according to James' testimony. Dang. Something the security detail would tell us. You know what rhymes with tired? And the answer is fired. James testified. Oh, dang, that's messed up. He told the court about one night when Combs allegedly admonished him for driving through a red light. I turned around and said, I'm effing tired. I'm exhausted, James told the court. He testified that Combs did not fire him for the remark. James also testified about throngs of people in public who wanted to touch Combs or get his autograph. Did he tend to be gracious about these things? Agnifilo asked. I don't think gracious is the word to describe Mr. Combs, James responded. James was asked about Combs' personal chef, a woman named Jordan Atkinson, who is expected to testify later this week. James testified that he personally once got upset, squeezed her wrist, and told her to stay in your effing lane, referring to Atkinson. James testified that the incident was reported and Combs called him to his room to talk about it. He asked me what happened and I told him what happened, and he said, you can't be putting your hands on females. I said, I know, sir, I effed up. He told me to write her a note and buy her a gift. James testified, adding, I rolled up a blunt and gave her a blunt. Did she appreciate it? Agnifilo asked. Agnifilo, Schmifilo, Biffalo. What? Did she appreciate the blunt? She did, James testified. On redirect examination, James testified about a time in Alpine, NJ, New Jersey, when referring to a separate incident in which James said he physically confronted Atkinson. Combs asked James to file a police report saying Jordan was the aggressor and hit James first. Did you file? Prosecutor Christy Slavic asked. I didn't want to make a false police report and lie to the police, James answered. The defense asked James about a time when he and a security guard allegedly brought two Schmeck workers back to Combs' house when he was not there. Security did it all the time, James testified. After we had intercourse, she asked me for $200 and I was surprised. I had no idea. I was again paying for her. James told the court that the security guard said, "You better pay her because we don't want any problems at the house." What? That's true, Cat Randall. James testified that the woman wanted a shower, to which James said he responded, quote unquote, "If you want to take a shower, give me my $200 back." The response elicited laughter in the court. Defense attorney Agnifilo remarked, "You got your money back." James' testimony has concluded. What? Combs' former assistant tells the court he drove an armed Combs to allegedly confront Suge Knight at LA Diner. According to former Diddy assistant David James' testimony, Combs dispatched James and a security guard named D-Rock to Mel's Diner in Los Angeles at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. We pulled into the parking lot and D-Rock looks over and says, "That's blank Suge, that's MFing Suge Knight," James testified, clarifying for the jury that the then chairman of Death Row Records was a Diddy rival. James testified that D-Rock approached Knight and said, "It's me, D-Rock, Biggie's boy." Oh, heck no. While waiting for their food, James testified that 4 black SUVs pulled into the parking lot and that he allegedly saw someone pass Knight a firearm. D-Rock said, "We got to effing go," James told the court. James testified that when he returned to Combs' house, Combs and Cassie Ventura were outside arguing. Cassie looked very distressed. She was telling him not to go to the diner. James told the court that Combs told him to get behind the wheel of a black Escalade and drive to the diner. "MFer, go," James testified. Combs told him from the back seat of the vehicle. James further told the court that Combs had 3 handguns on his lap at the time. 3 to go to the Mel's? I love me some Mel's, actually. But what do you mean? I was really struck by it. I realized for the first time being Diddy's assistant that my life was in danger, James testified. A short time later, James gave his notice and left the company. On cross-examination, defense attorney Mark Agnifilo challenged James' recollection of the event, which prosecutors have said supports their contention that Diddy was the leader of the criminal enterprise. "Did you leave D-Rock at the diner?" Agnifilo said. James smiled and laughed. "That's a crazy statement," he replied. Asked why he did not object to returning to the diner with an alleged GUN carrying Combs, James answered, quote unquote, "You have someone with 3 firearms in close proximity. I don't think I had the option." "You were executing the mission," Agnifilo asserted. James responded, "I was doing what I was told." The former assistant says he stocked Combs' hotel rooms with freak-off supplies and procured rugs. As Sean, the Combs' then personal assistant David James testified that he was required to ensure that Diddy's hotel rooms were stocked with 40 different skincare products, a Louis Vuitton bag that contained $10,000 cash, and probably 25 or 30 different pill bottles. James testified that he procured rugs for Combs, sometimes a prescription, the Perks, which he told the court he sometimes filled under his own name. "Did you give him or anyone else permission to fill prescriptions in your name?" Prosecutor Christie asked. I don't recall that, James answered. James also testified that Combs allegedly took e-pills marked with the face of former President Barack Obama. Asked how often he saw Combs take the rugs, James responded, I would say every day. Obtaining and distributing narcs is among the alleged racketeering acts in the indictment against Combs. In his testimony, James recalled that taking E and dancing around one of Combs' parties. Later, James testified that Diddy reviewed footage of the party, noticed James in the footage, and allegedly told him, I'm going to keep this footage in case I ever need it. So basically, there's the blackmail. There is the blackmail. Yep, I know he's doing it to everyone, and they're mammy, but like, wow. James also testified that he stocked Diddy's hotel rooms with baby oil, Astroglide lubricant, condoms, prophylactics, and he paid in cash. He paid for in cash provided by one of Combs' security guards. I know. It's controversial. The employees are just employees. They're also victims in some sense, but like, I said it in the live the other night, like the bodyguard that chased Cassie down in the driveway or whatever and like threw her in the car or like came and got her at her family's house. I don't remember what it was, but so many things. That I think people need to be held responsible. And this, call me shallow, but like, I don't know. Prescriptions? I know he probably got immunity, right? I'm assuming that probably came out already. I'm just a little behind. He's blackmailing him as well. But in all directions up to the point. I don't know. Providing rugs to these victims as a bodyguard. I don't know. Aren't you like supposed to be like a protector or something if you're a bodyguard? Protecting Diddy, I get that he did, but that's heavy. James further testified that in 2008, Diddy asked him to bring an iPod into a hotel room in Miami. Since James had set up the room, he had a key and opened the door to let himself in, he told the court. I saw Cassie on the bed. She had a white comforter up to her neck, her head to the side, and she did not move when I entered, James testified. He also told the jury that he remembers a gentleman in the room he did not recognize. That's the gentleman from earlier that I was saying, what is that gentleman doing in the room with Diddy and Cassie when Cassie's passed out in the bed? Like, did they both take advantage of her while she was sleeping? Pause, allegedly. These are just my thoughts and opinions. I am not a lawyer. I do not know Diddy. That's too much proving these things. Hey, Night. Good to see you. I saw Cassie on the bed. Oh, I already read that part. Sorry. He was completely naked, about 5 feet 8 inches, with a very large endowment, James testified. Let me get this straight. This assistant shows up. Diddy's there with a man who's 5'8" and has a large package, a large P word, penis. And Cassie's passed out in the bed, doesn't even hear when this person walks in. The man scurried out as if he didn't want to be seen, James told the court. So what was going on? Drug, yeah. It's terrible. Kudos to Cassie, man. I said it, but like, wow, all of this is just I would be so upset. Former Combs assistant to continue testimony on experience working for Diddy. Sean Combs, one-time personal assistant David James, returns Tuesday to the witness stand where he became emotional Monday when testifying about his job interview with the vice president of human resources at Bad Boy Records. We were sitting at her desk and there was a picture of Diddy on the wall, James began on his Monday testimony before choking up at the memory. She pointed at the wall and she said, "This is Diddy's kingdom. We're all here to serve in it," James alleged. The paintings. James worked for Combs from 2007 to 2009, he told the court, during which time he testified he witnessed Diddy allegedly attack his personal chef, a woman named Jordan Atkinson, who is expected to testify later this week. She in a part is lucky there keeps her from remembering a lot of the stuff. Yeah, I mean, even the chef got abused by Diddy. This is insane. James also testified on Monday that Ventura once told him she could not leave Combs because he controlled too much of her life. She was like, I can't get out. You know, Diddy oversees so much of my life, James testified. James is expected to testify on Tuesday about a time when Diddy and others allegedly went to confront recording exec Suge Knight at a restaurant named Mel's Diner. We did just read about that. Sean and I were having a freak off at one of his homes in LA, and I just remember we were kind of like chilling at the point, and D-Rock came in and said that Suge was at Mel's Diner, which was just right down the street, and they were quickly packed up and drove down there. Yeah, we read that part. Cassie Ventura's mother testified. Defense focuses on, James told the jury what he said were demanding hours the weapons Combs security staff allegedly carried, and the time James said he and Carrie Morgan and Cassie were smoking cigarettes on Combs' deck in Miami Beach. She said to me, "Man, this lifestyle is crazy." James testified of Ventura. She said, "I can't get out, you know. He oversees so much of my life. He controls my music, my career. He gives me an allowance." Wow. James also told the jury that part of his job was ensuring that the hotel rooms in which Combs would stay were stocked with items that Diddy wanted. Court adjourned after 3 p.m. Defense focuses on Morgan's relationship with Ventura. Defense attorneys questioned Carrie Morgan. So Carrie Morgan was Cassie's best friend, I think she said, for like 18 years. And Cassie was dating Diddy when Diddy assaulted his best friend. Like, I think he hit her or something. We'll probably get to that. And then they stopped being best friends, which is like really sad. Defense attorney questioned Carrie Morgan why she hasn't rekindled her relationship with Cassie since their last meeting in 2018. "I draw the line at physical abuse," Morgan testified. "The reason I stopped speaking to her was she was not supportive of me after the incident," referring to Combs' alleged assault on Morgan. Morgan testified earlier in the day that Combs allegedly caused her to have a concussion after she told the jury he threw a wooden hanger at her in Cassie's home in 2018. Morgan testified that she received $30,000 from Diddy after threatening a lawsuit regarding the alleged incident. Oh my gosh, she got paid for it? What? I didn't know that. "I didn't demand money from anyone," she offered. Morgan testified, referring to Ventura. "The money wasn't coming from her. She was the in-between for Combs," Morgan told the court. Morgan testified that Cassie offered her the money to sign an NDA or non-disclosure agreement that was essentially too close the case on it. You don't get anybody to sue anybody or say anything about it, Morgan alleged. And you still never became friends again? Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo asked, referring to Cassie. She still hasn't reached out to me, Morgan responded. I'm sure she doesn't have the same phone number. Much of the defense cross-examination of Morgan focused on jealousy, seeking to reinforce the defense's contention that Combs became violent not to coerce women into sex, but because of jealousy and rugs. Agnifilo showed Morgan a text message exchange, and when she sent Diddy a lengthy affirmation that Agnifilo said was penned by an author who writes about self-love. Did you believe Diddy did not love himself? Agnifilo asked Morgan. Oh my God. Here we go into the issues that Diddy has. Listen, I miss you. I know. Poor Cassie, but a part of her at point in the beginning and doing stuff, but some people like the freak off stuff. Well, that's true. Sometimes it seemed like he did not, Morgan testified. I miss it too. On redirect, prosecutor Meredith Foster argued that jealousy was not part of either of the alleged assaults on Cassie Ventura that Morgan claimed in previous testimony to have witnessed. Referring to the alleged assaults in LA and Jamaica, Foster asked Morgan, prior to that, what, if any, argument did you hear about jealousy? Morgan replied, none. Morgan's testimony has concluded. David James is the next. Oh, we already read about him. Morgan describes Combs allegedly assaulting her in 2018 in an effort to investigate Ventura cheating suspicions. Carrie testified that she and Cassie often discussed whether Ventura would stay in a relationship with Diddy. Sometimes I would tell her she should leave him, Morgan testified. According to Morgan, Cassie answered that she couldn't because of her job, her car, her apartment. He controlled everything, Morgan testified, Ventura told her. Diddy's alleged extortion of control, including leveraging financial support, are elements of the alleged racketeering conspiracy with which Combs is charged. Morgan testified that she and Cassie last spoke in 2018. She told the court that she recalled being at Cassie's apartment listening to music when Diddy entered and allegedly came up behind me and choked me and boomeranged a wooden hanger at my head. The coat hanger hit her behind the right ear and left her with marks on her neck and a concussion, Morgan told the court. Morgan further testified that Combs demanded that she tell him who Cassie was cheating on him with. According to Morgan's testimony, Ventura had locked herself in the bathroom as this alleged transpired. Morgan told the court that she recalled seeing Diddy's personal assistant there at the time shrug as Morgan left the apartment. I don't think he knew what he could do about it, Morgan testified. A month later, Morgan testified that she and Cassie met at a pizza place to discuss a $30,000 payment Morgan told the court that Diddy made to her after she threatened a lawsuit over the alleged attack. She told me she thought I was milking it. I was over-exaggerating, Morgan told the court. The two never spoke again, Morgan testified. Carrie Morgan describes a guttural, terrifying screams amid Combs' alleged 2013 assault on Ventura. Cassie's former best friend describes two alleged assaults on Cassie by Combs that Morgan testified she witnessed. The first alleged attack occurred in a home Combs rented in the Hollywood Hills. According to Morgan, I saw him push her. I'm pretty sure he hit her, Morgan testified. That's her in the picture. The second alleged attack occurred in Jamaica in January 2013, Morgan told the court, saying she remembered being in the bar area of a home when I, quote unquote, heard screaming, referring to Cassie describing them as guttural, terrifying screams. I heard her screaming and I went to the hallway. The hallway was extremely long. They were coming out of the master bedroom and he was dragging her on the floor by her hair, Morgan testified. A moment later, Morgan testified they were all outside when I saw him push her on the ground and she hit her head. Ventura did not move for 20 to 30 seconds from a loose fetal position, Morgan testified. When Cassie began moving, she had a really big bump on her forehead, according to Morgan's testimony. The prosecutor also asked Morgan about the aftermath of the 2016 freak-off at the Intercontinental Hotel, during which Combs' attack on Ventura was also captured on video. Yeah, I believe the prosecution has proved the organized crime element to prove the RICO charge. Good night, Chief. Thanks for being here. Yes, Christine, I agree. I agree with you. Organized crime, definitely. And yeah, I'm with the whole SCX, all of that, all of those charges because Cassie was like probably passed out and out of it and rugged up a lot of those times. And who knows, like all of the people that Diddy has hurt, like how long is that list? Like I would not want his karma. You know what I mean? That's terrible. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. She had her hoodie over her head and she was kind of slumped and dropped her bags. And when she pulled her hoodie back, she had a black eye, Morgan testified. Sean Combs arrived at Ventura's apartment about 30 minutes later. Morgan told the court he was hitting the door with a hammer to try and open it, Morgan testified. He was yelling. I could hear him. With a hammer? Oh my gosh, like he literally has issues. The police came to the apartment, but Morgan testified that Ventura refused to cooperate, consistent with Ventura's testimony last week. Morgan also testified that Ventura did not tell her about the time she was at the hotel with Combs. Don Richards' testimony concludes after defense questions Singer's motives in testifying. We read about that. Defense questions Don Richards' account of Combs' alleged assault. Where do you read that in the other article? Just sneeze. Okay, that was intense. Let's move on to one more little article, and then I'm going to play some clips. Oh, and I want to show the photos. The photos of that were in the exhibits. Let's see. May 19th. This is today, day 6. Wait. May 19th, 2025. Day 6 was yesterday. Wait, is today day 7 then? Am I behind? No, I'm not behind. Wait, am I? Did I do that right? Whatever. It's been a long week already. I would say it's basketball time. Diddy Combs trial's adjourned until tomorrow. Okay, yeah, we know that. Morgan, she testifies. Yes. She was friends with her for 17 years. Yeah, that's right. Pretty much. I think we already covered. Combs' ex-assistant says Ventura was happy about working on album. David James recalled a second conversation he had with Cassie when they shared a cab to the Sundance Film Festival. James said Ventura was super happy about an album she was working on. I do not remember the album coming out, James testified. He also described a time when a business associate asked Combs about Porter and Cassie. Combs and Porter was doing well and described her as his queen. When Combs talked about Ventura, sorry, my computer was like lying for a minute. He described her as the queen. James described her. Oh, wow. When Combs talked about Cassie, James said he described her as moldable. I got her right where I want her. She's young, Diddy said. Prosecutors focus on Combs' control over Ventura to support SCX trafficking charges. Prosecutors are continuing to focus on Diddy Combs' control over Cassie as they aim to solidify the SCX trafficking charges against him. Mercedes Cohen analysis says. It goes back to the trafficking, and we already heard from Cassie Ventura that she was a recording artist and had signed a contract with Diddy and then ultimately became an SEX worker. And that means when you look at those charges of sex, trafficking, it's a force, coercion, and violence. That's why talking about the violence and the level of control continues to solidify those specific charges against Combs. Ventura signed a 10-album contract with Combs at the beginning of her career and has testified that the music mogul has control over various aspects of her life. Did she even make one CD? I think it was one. Hey, Witch, good to see you, love. Blackmailed who? Who, Witch? Hey, girl, dad. Thanks for being here. Blackmailed. Oh, wait, are you talking about, it was 30K, the front. Oh, Cassie? Oh, like after the 20 mil or whatever he gave her? That's intense. Comes assistant on security staff. I have to sneeze. They said her and her hubby had to take out a home of equity loan. Yeah, but she should be good now, right? With that 20 mil? Or no? Bless you, thank you. I'm still stuck on that code conversation he had with his son, right? That was weird. The pizza box one, right? Is that what you're talking about? Let's see. Comes assistant on his security staff. I knew not to mess with them. David James, the man we were just reading about, who's the assistant, testified that security staffers often told him to stay in his lane if he asked too many questions. I knew not to mess with them. Combs' assistant describes what working with him was like. Ugh. He was with Combs every day, was working and traveled the world with him. He said he would arrive at Diddy's house before he woke up and coordinate with the chef to make sure breakfast was getting started. He would compile documents for Diddy, including business decisions he needed to approve, and his daily schedule and news stories about Combs. After Combs woke up and ate breakfast, they would go to the studio and then go back to Combs' house or another destination. We read the part about this being Combs' kingdom. Yuck. No. Carrie Morgan and Don Richard corroborated Cassie Ventura's testimony. Cross-examination. Yep. Assistant takes a stand. We saw David James, the assistant, Carrie, the best friend, the Punisher. Morgan says Combs was asking about Ventura's infidelity before 2018 assault. Cassie and Combs loved each other. Hey, Oscar. She settled with the hotel. Yeah, she settled with the hotel for 10 million, and then Diddy gave her 20 million. So she got a good 30 mil. Yeah, she got 20 million from the settlement. She said it on the stand. I think it was on like Thursday. Good to see you, Oscar. Yeah, I know you guys are telling me. I've been sneezing like crazy. Morgan says she believed money came from Combs' alleged 2018 assault. Morgan recalls later details about what happened in the 2016 hotel altercation. She said at the time Ventura had a black eye and was wearing a hoodie. Ventura was jealous of another of Combs' girlfriend. Oh yeah, Gina. Another woman, Gina, had a years-long relationship with Sean Diddy Combs that overlapped his relationship with Cassie Ventura, and that was a big problem for Ventura. Carrie Morgan testified. I need a drink. Good to see you, Four Wheeling. How can there be infidelity when he had multiple girlfriends? And you know what? Like, I don't even think Cassie was jealous. I think that was like trauma, and I think that was like stuff she was going through, you know, like the abuse and then like her being jealous. Like, I'm like, she probably wasn't jealous because she wanted him. She was probably, it was not even probably jealousy. She was probably terrified and and she's sitting there being abused by him. And so she's thinking, like, what about me? You know, I don't think necessarily that's jealousy. I think it was like a psychological trauma thing. I think it's so sad. You know how they studied Aaron Hernandez's brain after his death? I think they need to study Diddy's brain because I'm like, what is wrong with that brain? We heard about the Michael B. Jordan thing. Defense asked Morgan about the time she spent with Ventura and Combs. We just read about that. Mark Agnifilo cross-examines her. Richard did what prosecutors needed her to do. I did hear that the Punisher, what was his name? Sheree? Is that what it was? The Punisher, I heard, was given immunity. So he's given immunity to not be charged, I think, for the rugs and like whatever his responsibility was in the whole thing. I think he got immunity. I heard that earlier. So is it a full moon tonight? Is that why I'm feeling like I'm feeling? Is it which? What's been said? Yeah, okay. We know about Carrie. We know about James. We know about the Punisher. We know about the money. We heard about Cassie's mom. We know about Diddy banging on her hotel room with a hammer. We know about Cassie being assaulted in Jamaica. Morgan says she witnessed Combs assault Ventura twice, and both times he was sober. Carrie also testified she saw Diddy assault Cassie on 2 occasions, that Combs hit her, pulled her hair, kicked her, and pushed her. Morgan testified Combs was not intoxicated or high during these times. In one of the occasions, Morgan said she was at Combs' Los Angeles home with Diddy, Ventura, and one of Combs' security guards. I saw him push her. I'm pretty sure he hit her. They were on the other side of the bed, so I'm not sure if he kicked her or something. She said Ventura didn't do anything in response. Morgan said she saw one of Combs' security guards. She asked one of the security guards to intervene, but he responded that he wasn't going to do anything. Morgan said she and Ventura left the house and hid on the stairs of a neighbor's house as Combs and the security guard were driving around in the street looking for them. Whoa. Eventually, Ventura went back to Combs' house and Morgan went to her hotel. Combs criticized Ventura's appearance and behavior. Morgan says Diddy could be extremely generous or become aggressive. Former friend describes the early years of relationship. Carrie says she first met Cassie on a modeling shoot when she was 16 and Cassie was on 15. In the first few years of the friendship, Cassie didn't drink too much and didn't use any rugs. They no longer speak because Combs assaulted her. I hope they make up. Like I feel so bad that friendship was ruined by abuse and pain. I don't know one tonight. Let's make one. Like I hope they can bring that friendship back, you know, mend that and both heal from it. I'm sure that was painful. I think Kid Cudi is going to be testifying tomorrow. That's what I heard too. I can't wait. So Don Richard, I think it's Richard. Somebody says it's Richard, but Richard. Looking back, making the band. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to finish this article, but then I need to show you guys something crazy. Okay, I'm being distracted. Oh my God. Focus. Richard says that she alleged in every meeting with prosecutors that Combs hit Ventura. Dude. Like, that's terrifying. Cassie was just getting beat and beat. Huh. Danity Kane Singer says Her recent work hasn't been as successful as her music with Combs. Oh, this is Don Richard and Kalena Harper. Ugh. Danity King member says she has reached out to Combs to ask him about working together again. Oh, she reached out to him back in 2011. So she says she contacted him to work together again. But she reached out as recently as 2020. Wait, why are you testifying against him and you were reaching out in 2020? So she was still trying to work with him in 2020, but then come 2025, you're testifying? I'm not judging any of the victims, but I don't know about that. She's credible. Yeah, she was in Making the Band. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? I know it sounds mean, but I'm like, should you be testifying if you were just trying to work with? I mean, that was 5 years ago. Um, I want to show you guys something. I'll find it. Richard says she often saw Combs taking rugs and carrying a pew-pew. She stopped commenting on Combs and Ventura's relationship for her own safety. She says, I made a decision it would be best for the safety of myself to not interfere because I don't think she was really ready to do anything, she said about Cassie. Don Richard testifies Combs punched Ventura at a restaurant. They were arguing in the car. Ventura was embarrassed and told Combs that he shouldn't have done that in public. Wait. Don Richard testified about another occasion in which she saw Diddy punch Cassie in the stomach. Several people from the record label were present, and they had been arguing. After Ventura bent over reacting to the punch, Combs told her to leave. They were arguing in the car. He grabbed her by the neck and popped her, slapped her in her mouth, and he told her to shut up. Security personnel who were present in the car didn't do anything, and the rest of the car ride was quiet. Richard later testified in cross-examination that R&B singers Usher, Neo, and Beats Electronics co-founder Jimmy Levine were among the celebrities who were at the restaurant that day. And no one did a thing about it? Like, what? Everybody was just scared of Diddy? I don't know how I feel about that. Richard says she saw Ventura with injuries on face, arms, and legs. Dawn said she saw Cassie with injuries on her face, arms, and legs, was violent towards his former girlfriend. They wouldn't react. They wouldn't do anything. Don Richard's testimony can be incredibly impactful. Okay, let's look at the pictures, and then we'll play a couple of the clips. Let me see. Okay. Why punch her in the stomach? Nobody did anything. Not even Neo and Usher? Like, what? They're famous too. Sure, their car would have been blown up, but I would have definitely tried to help Cassie. Like, what? It just shows you, though. Okay, so you guys can see the pics. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Let me zoom in. Okay, so perhaps the most shocking images shown during Diddy's trial. Oh, I zoomed in too much, my bad. um, on Monday were images shown amphetamines and other drugs found at the Park Hyatt Hotel when he was arrested in September of 2024. Oh, wow. Hmm. Okay, I'm trying to click next and it won't let me. Sorry, guys. Oh, there we go. Bombshell images shown in Combs trial. Rat Mogul was preparing for a hotel freak off despite knowing he was going to be arrested. Oh, yeah, because they were saying that he did a freak off, huh? He was doing a freak off before he got arrested. Hey, Foragine. Good to see you. The whole situation is just a humanized human slip inside. Hey, carbonized. Yes. Good to see you, Foragine. Good to see you, Carbonized. Good to see you, Constance. Yeah, Making the Band was a bunch of girls. We're gonna watch a clip on that. Okay, so all the baby oil there. Okay, these are other images of pill bottles and the pink powder. Clonazepam, which can be used for seizures and anxiety. Frank Black, that was Diddy's alias. Visine money. Come and drop off that little baggie of money right over here, Diddy. Actually, stay far away from me, Diddy. The hotel room. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, this is another picture. Platonic membership, platonic mentorship. Wow. Wow. I said everything changed the first time on a trip to Miami. Whoa. Looks very demonic there. Oh. Wow. Those are the shoes that she would have to wear for a freak off. Yeah, carbonized. It's a hot mess. That's intense, y'all. I mean, those are cute, but dang. Oh, is that Cassie? She looks different there. She looks good. But her face doesn't even look like her there. Lighting to set up the freak offs. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, these are pictures where Cassie's been hurt. Oh, no, well, let me go back. There we go. Fat lip. Wow. Trigger warning. Oh my God, my heart breaks for Cassie. What's going on here? Who's that person? Who's this female here? Throughout the week-long trial. Hey Mo, hi my love. Good to see you. She looks oiled up. A lot younger. Poor girl, right? Oh my gosh. Oh no. Leo decap. Whose dreams just got ruined by this pic? Mine definitely did. What is Leo doing right here? You guys watching a freak off? Is that what they're doing? Hmm? Watching a little freak off? Gross. Cassie. Misha Barton. Oh, we know. Is that Misha Barton? We know Misha has stuff to say. We know it. Didn't Leo run? Not mine. No interest. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. What happened to Ashton Kutcher? Can we talk about that for 1 second? Pause. Where is Ashton Kutcher? And why has he not been getting any shit? Nobody's mentioned it. Looks like he likes to punt. Yeah, which. Where the heck is Ashton Kutcher? Ellen ran to, yeah, Ellen, Ashton. Barack was on the E-pills. I mean, I'm just shook. Yeah, Ashton's in Europe. Ashton, we have questions. Whoa, cover your eyes. Diddy says a party in 1998. What is this white stuff on the back? I just need to know, is that like milk? What is that? Like coconut milk? Wow. And who is that female? Yeah, cover your little eyeballs. Well, that's just a stamp. Yeah, it is. Wine? The white wine like that? Champagne? Yo, oh, maybe champagne. I'm like, that looks like oat milk. Just kidding. Perfect time to come in. Huh? Hi, Natasha. That's an okay. Carbonized. Oh, I see champagne now. Yo, look at that. It looks like I'm looking through the window at Costco, staring at the rotisserie chickens. Oh my gosh. People looking to, yeah, you know what? This is wild. Carrie Morgan. Oh, they stopped being friends because Diddy gave her a concussion with a wooden hanger. And like, dear Lord, like a wooden hanger, a concussion, how hard do you have to throw that wooden hanger? The skull is very strong. If you're not a science person, let me tell you, you can handle a lot. Sure, you might have like trauma, head trauma, or later, whatever, but our skull is pretty strong. He must have been throwing that so hard. Hard. Sad. What? Yeah, no Tootsie Roll here, please. Melly does not like the Tootsie Rolls. Very sad, yeah. Okay, let's move on. I love our FOs when we both want it. I want to freak off right now. LOL. I want to have fun with you. Let me know if you want to have a late night. Jules is available. If you're not into that, NP, we can just do a thing. Love you. Love you. If you're not super horny, WTF. Excuse me? What? So Cassie, text messages between Cassie and Diddy. Go to hotel. Okay, how long are you going to be, you think? I was away all week, partied with you all week. Record. You want to see me tonight? I'm doing this fasting. I can't deal with no problems. Maybe a SEX club with your wig. Oh, like she's going to be wearing a wig. Okay. Oh, because she dressed up all the time. We sure about tonight? I'm making plans to know. Babe, didn't hear him. I can't read that bottom part. Didn't hear from you, so I just put some plans together. Is that what she said? Name the night. I feel like the weekend, a Friday night would be best. We'd want to recover from the work week. This upcoming weekend is the only one I have until the 28th. Okay, I'm on it. LOL, but if you can't, we can always do it during the week. You know, that doesn't matter to me. I miss you already. Me too. When do you want to freak off? LOL. LOL, I'm just going up to change. I'm always ready to freak off. LOL, you tell me the day you choose. Okay, I think we're done there. I don't know what that is. Oh no, he wears the wigs. A clothes hanger doesn't have the mask to create concussion. That sounds like a cover up for greater assault. Thank you, 14. I was just gonna say like a concussion and a hanger. That seems a little bit insane. Hey, Dodge. Ruggs got them. You know what? I don't think she was complicit. I don't. Maybe to an extent, but like I think she was complicit in trying to um like save her own life. I think that's crazy. Okay, I wanted to show you guys a video. We're gonna watch a couple clips, but I wanted to pull up this video of Diddy first. Okay, I'll play the one I was gonna play. The wooden hangers, especially if they're made out of, you know, she's having a baby right now, I think. Well, she didn't give birth yet, but you know what I mean? She's like 8, she's literally due any day now. Okay, we're gonna watch a long crime clip until I watch what I want to show you guys. She enjoyed all of the attention involuntarily, hun. Is there a footage of that we cannot see? No means no, right? Okay, this is
with Elizabeth Milner, who is our in-court reporter for the Sean Diddy Combs criminal trial. Elizabeth, so good to see you. So you were in court today, week 2, continuation of Dawn Richard's testimony. She left the stand, Carrie Morgan on the stand. Before we get to the substance of what they had to say, what is the vibe like in court today? How does Sean Combs appear? Who's there? Paint the picture for us, because unfortunately, as we know, there are no cameras. There are no audio recordings allowed in that courtroom. What did you see and what did you hear?
Yeah, well, the tone as far as this morning goes, a lot of people are kind of anticipating what would the rest of Dawn Richard's testimony look like.
Oh, it is Richard.
So how would the cross-examination and how would Diddy's defense attorneys kind of be able to pull apart essentially her credibility? As far as just everyone inside the courtroom today, it doesn't look like there was that big kind of present for the defendant side that we've seen last week, especially when we came to day 1 and even day 2 of testimony. And that we didn't see any of Diddy's children inside that courtroom, which I think is a little big and a little not big at the same time. We saw images over this weekend that the twins were in during prom season. They were in.
I did hear that they did show up secret today too, right? They went in another
prom
way.
Dresses and that sort. Not 100% sure where the sons are in this kind of picture, as far as are they on the West Coast again, because the twins are about to graduate. So it's unclear why the family presence wasn't so big as it has been for day 1 and day 2. As far as Diddy himself, though, it seems like that didn't necessarily faze him that much. I assume that he, looks forward to seeing his family inside that courtroom, but maybe understanding that they had other obligations. He didn't seem too bothered by that or anything like that. So as far as him being inside that courtroom, it was still the same old Diddy that we've seen, kind of in the same old outfit that we've seen him in as well, too. He was wearing a tan sweater. He had a white undershirt. He had khakis on. When he comes into the courtroom, he hugs his attorneys. He chats with them. All those types of things. And so a lot of people were just anticipating what would it look like once Dawn Richard got back on the stand. And let me tell you something, Jesse, when I saw her on the stand today, and even on Friday as well, too, she appeared like she just didn't want to be there. You could tell that she was very uncomfortable, especially talking about her recollection of her time that she had worked with Diddy, her time after working with Diddy, especially during the cross-examination part. I thought that maybe she would get a little emotional because she just appeared maybe a little nervous, maybe a little intimidated, not necessarily sure, but she was very soft-spoken while she was on that stand today, answering some of the questions. A lot of those questions obviously had to do with the egg frying incident. It had to do with why Dawn Richard even continued working with Diddy even afterwards, or even wanting to work with Diddy afterwards. And so a lot of the anticipation, or just the overall tone inside that courtroom, especially when it came to that cross-examination, it was kind of, it was a little rough to watch. It was a little like a lot of people, especially us in the gallery, in the press, were just kind of like, wow, this is a little brutal. And they kind of hit the points that they wanted to hit while them being defense attorneys. And so I think that the prosecution really kind of had to tighten everything up as far as, trying to get maybe back in the jury's good graces after kind of seeing that cross-examination go and all those holes that were poked into her testimony. And so that was just the overall essence.
Whoa.
Especially this morning before Carrie Morgan got on the witness stand.
To go by, because I know it's so loud. So this, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
How is the jury responding to Dawn Richard's testimony, and what were some of the highlights? I mentioned it briefly before you came on air, kind of summarized some of the points, but what were some of the points that came out today from her testimony, both on direct and
we're just kind of
cross-examination?
watching like a repeat of what I just read.
How was the jury responding to her testimony? Because let's not forget, she is a corroborating witness for Cassandra Ventura Fine. She helped to articulate some of the finer elements of racketeering. What were some of the highlights from her testimony, both on direct and cross, and how was the jury responding?
Well, absolutely. As far as being under direct, it was really just kind of ironing out the details as far as what happened with this whole egg skillet incident, that being the incident that happened in 2009, according to Dawn Richard, where essentially Cassie was cooking Diddy breakfast. Diddy comes downstairs, gets upset about either the way that the breakfast was made or why it wasn't being made fast enough. And essentially just an assault happened in the aftermath of that, something that Dawn Richard has even pointed out in her civil lawsuit, something that definitely the defense was definitely talking about today. So a lot of it had to do just with under direct examination still while they were finishing that up, just what was Cassie's demeanor when this was going on. They were also asked, or they being Dawn Richard was also asked, you know, Cassie had a pretty quiet demeanor and that Diddy wasn't necessarily having that when it comes to what kind of promoted this type of violence or what prompted this type of violence as far as why Diddy would essentially physically assault her. And Dawn would say Cassie would just be speaking up for herself, or it would be something random that happened. Then there were moments where they had talked about who witnessed these physical assaults, and Dawn Richard pointed out names such as Harve Pierre, who used to be the president of Bad Boy, Mia, who we expect to be testifying as well too. She had worked for Diddy. Capricorn Clark had worked for Diddy as well too, and then she named other names like D-Rock and Bonds, who both worked security for Diddy. So I can kind of see where the prosecution was kind of painting that or amping that up as far as how the staff is involved in all of that sort. As far as 2010, just the following year, she says she witnessed another incident where they were all at a festival together up in Central Park. They were about to bring out Diddy's Dirty Money group, and that right before this had happened, or actually, excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong incident. Sorry about that. But there was another incident in 2010 where they were having a dinner with a bunch of celebrities, and that Cassie and Diddy were kind of arguing a little bit secretly there, and Diddy punched her in the stomach, according to Dawn Richard. There, she said that at that dinner, they had people like Harve Pierre, again, former president of Bad Boy, D-Rock, security, Kalina Harper, who used to work with Diddy's Dirty Money, Mia, who also worked with Diddy, and Bonds were all there during this dinner. And so then we kind of saw an exhibit photo of what Harve Pierre looked like. And so then there was another talk, and this is kind of where I bring up the Central Park incident, where there was an incident where Diddy had allegedly physically assaulted Cassie while they were getting ready for this festival, and that Cassie came into the bathroom, and that Kalina and Dawn kind of confided in her, or at least kind of helped her during this moment.
I think regardless of the text, whatever text Cassie said to him or whatever, I think Diddy's done, in my opinion. I do.
Kind of put on sunglasses and then just carried on.
The jury is more men, though. We were having this conversation.
Injuries, just behind
jury
the
is
scenes.
made up of
now, when it
more
came
males.
To the cross-examination,
does that play a factor?
And there was just a lot of testimony going on today. So I'm trying to get you guys all my notes going on and everything like that. But once it came to the cross-examination, that was done by Nicole Westmoreland. And this was the first time we've kind of really seen her in action when it comes to this specific trial. And so first thing that Nicole Westmoreland's going to be asking her is just about her lawsuit.
Yeah,
the lawsuit
allegedly.
That she had filed just a few months ago against Diddy. And so she was asked about the demand letter that was I guess set up by her attorneys. She was asked about how many times she spoke with federal prosecutors, and she said she couldn't necessarily recall the amount of times that she had done it, but the defense kind of summed it up that she at least spoke with federal prosecutors 8 different times. They brought back the egg skillet incident where on Friday the defense was pointing out, you said that Cassie was cooling the eggs, and then Diddy comes downstairs and then he hits Cassie, or did he hit her, or did you see him hit her? Did you see that he had threw something at her? Was he like, it was really just kind of that quick and that much questioning kind of being thrown at her essentially. And then they brought up how it kind of compared to what she had said in her lawsuit just about the whole egg incident, and said that she didn't see the pan hit Cassie in the lawsuit. And then when she was asked essentially why she brought the lawsuit about, the defense was really kind of pointing at her. And I think this is something that, anybody who had filed a civil claim against Diddy might be expecting this under the cross-examination, is what was their motivation in filing the lawsuit against the defense's client, essentially. And so while Dawn at times was trying to say that she wanted justice and that she wanted to do the right thing, essentially, that the defense also pointed out, well, you did want compensation as well, too. And Dawn had to kind of own up and admit that she did want compensation for the time that she had worked on as an employee. Then the defense was asking her about her most recent communications with Diddy, as going back as early or as soon as like 2020, 2021, where
carbonized. I don't want a Tootsie popsicle.
Dawn was reaching out to Diddy himself, was trying to get in touch with people about this kind of whole making the band. I believe it's a reboot that they were trying to do, where Diddy wasn't necessarily going to be a judge, but instead Dawn wanted to use that opportunity to work with somebody else named Lori Ann Gibson. And so the defense was really kind of hammering her just about the facts that she had talked about with federal prosecutors, as far as the different meetings that she had had in 2024, on March 18th of this year, on April 17th of this year, again, just pointing out specifics in regards to this egg incident, but also at the same time going into specifics about whether or not she felt threatened to working with Diddy. And if she felt threatened, if she felt scared for her life, why did she continue reaching out to Diddy as late as 2020 or 2021? As we ended direct examination on Friday, they were really kind of hitting on the point that after Dawn Richard and even her bandmate at the time,
why was she hitting him up?
Witnessed this physical assault with the whole egg skillet thing, because that's kind of how they were summing up this particular incident, was the egg skillet incident. She was asked on Friday, what did Diddy tell you the next day?
Please save the eggs.
And essentially, Dawn had said that
they're so expensive.
Diddy essentially said that people wind up missing when they question him and that type of thing. And that was perceived as a death threat. So then when the defense had their chance to kind of cross-examine her, they were like, well, why did you feel threatened? And yet you continue to want to work with him. And so the defense moments, Nicole Westmoreland really kind of hit it on the head. I think a lot of people were possibly wondering, did Dawn come off like a liar, or did she kind of over embellish some of these incidents? But to Dawn's accord and to Dawn on the witness stand, she was just saying, she was trying to remember to the best of her ability. So it was kind of tough to watch, but at the same time, I think Dawn Richard held her own. She didn't, kind of get too frazzled necessarily. She didn't get overly emotional, but you could tell that during the cross-examination, it was pretty tough.
And we actually have a poll up right now on YouTube. Do you think the jury views Dawn Richard as a credible witness? We'll see what the results
I think
of those
she's
are.
credible.
I wish I had a little bit more time with you, Elizabeth, because I wanted to ask you a little bit more about Carrie Morgan. This is Cassandra Ventura's former best friend on the stand, but I know we have to get you back into that courtroom. Thanks so much for giving us an update. Great reporting as always. Elizabeth Milner, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jesse.
Now, I'm back here with Afi Patterson. Afi, you want to hear something really interesting as we talk about questions from YouTubers? And we have polls up. So we had a poll that said, has this trial changed your view of Sean Diddy Combs?
Whoa.
Ready for this?
James is the assistant. My bad.
56% say yes. 43% say no. Now, look, I'm an attorney, right? And I don't care what.
She was trying to catch him again. And
I like the idea of, the idea is for the jury to go in, clear eyes, clear minds, allow the evidence and the facts and the testimony
I like him so much, I forgot his name.
to see that change. 56% of, not the jury, but the people watching this, their view has changed. That's interesting. What do you take away from that?
Well, what was it from the beginning? I think it's pretty low. I think it should be higher toward the negative side, because I think for a long time, he's kept his reputation pretty good, pretty much intact. He's a music mogul. He is a self-made businessman. So I would have expected it to be a little bit higher in the negative. Can I also talk about just this case in general? I think that there's a money issue here. And like we were talking about Dawn Richard and her civil case. And
it is Richard.
Cassie and her civil case. In our justice system, we are allowed to have compensation, but I think compensation is maybe the wrong word. I think that when you've suffered some serious guttural traumas, you are entitled to try to be made whole. and financial compensation, if you will, that helps to make you whole. It doesn't resolve everything, but you're entitled to that. That's what our legal system allows.
Well, look, the defense is going to jump on that, right? The defense is going to jump on the $20 million settlement or purported $20 million settlement with Sean Combs, the $10 million settlement or expected $10 million settlement that she's going to get with the LA Intercontinental Hotel. The idea is you only went after this. You brought up these allegations for monetary purposes. I don't know if it makes entire sense. Why do I say that? Cover trials all the time where somebody testifies and they're in the middle of active litigation against somebody. And the argument is, well,
I think Cassie will forever be in therapy, whether she's happy with her family or not. Like,
you would benefit if there was a guilty verdict here, wouldn't you not? Well, she filed her lawsuit, settled with Sean Combs, and then cooperated with the government. I don't quite know what the incentive would be there, right? You know you're going to have to testify, make your allegations public, have to. I mean, if you look at people online, there's a lot of people who are questioning her credibility, her authenticity. I don't know if the defense did a significant job or not of saying that the financial motivation was a reason for her to come forward, striking at her credibility. I don't know if I saw that. What do you take away from it, Afi?
No, I agree. I'm merely focusing on John Richard's part, and they're questioning her. Why are you coming forward? But I think just with respect to how people feel about him, Diddy, and how they view him, I think a lot of people are turned off by the money aspect. But if the problem is if you focus on the civil suit first, you have people questioning, well, why didn't you go the criminal route? Now that she's going the criminal route, people are saying, well, oh, okay. Now they pick apart issues like, why did you stay? You should have left early. So it's like you really can't win in situations like this. I think in intimate partner domestic violence situations.
Well, the
I don't like that when people say, "Why didn't you leave?"
To correct that. I don't know if that's the right terminology. Is they said, she was in the middle of this, very hard for her to get out. Maybe didn't even recognize she was a victim or what was going on. Again, taking the allegations as true. And it wasn't until later on that she went through therapy, potentially for PTSD, where she recognizes to recall traumatic episodes and recognizing what happened to her, and then files the lawsuit. Now, the defense could say, this therapy, is it actually recalling real memories of what happened, or is it tainting it? Is it tainting your record?
You make a good point. Thank you, Natasha. Carbonize. How do you measure damage? Measure damage to a soul? You can't. So too many, it's not worth anything. What if chunks of her body were missing? Would that justify money being given then? Right. Great point.
Collection of what happened. Is it a little bit of a dubious science? And I'm sure that's going to come back and forth a little bit, but it is a question. You were part of this relationship for quite some time, helped to set up these alleged freak offs. The text messages would say you encourage them. You wonder if it's a question and a problem for the prosecution, but at the same time, the prosecution knew about these messages. They knew about the timeline. They still felt confident to go forward with this case and Cassandra Ventura as their star witness. Okay, we got a question from Last Plane Home. Can Diddy still take a plea deal? It sounds like they were all under the influence, which impairs a sane mind. Afi.
Is the deal still on the table at this point?
Yeah, I mean, well, put it this way.
I think you can always take one.
You could always take one, right?
Right. You can always take one, but is it still on the table? It depends on how confident the prosecution feels about their case. And I think, again, this is set to be an 8-week trial. So I think that you're going to have
Diddy ain't taking nothing.
A lot of people. And Jesse, you tell me,
he's a monster.
I believe there's supposed to be at least 2 more alleged victims coming through.
Well,
but this is supposed to be an 8-week trial.
There were supposed to be 4. One of them can't be found, which is a problem. But look, it's also different, right? If it was before the trial started, before opening statements, before Cassandra Ventura had to take the stand, your prosecutor would say, listen, we want to avoid this. We want to avoid the jury after seeing this. We want to avoid putting on alleged victims who have to recount what happened to them. Okay, we might be interested in you accepting a deal. Now, after she takes the stand, now after Dawn Richard takes the stand, I don't know.
Yes, but just also, you were talking about the PTSD therapy that Cassie got. I thought that her testimony showed that, yeah, she was a willing participant very early on. I don't think it was super helpful for the prosecution, but also to your point, I think you mentioned the fact that it was brought up that she may not know that she was a victim. But for me, the line of delineation is, when did it become
She may
coercion?
not know
Clearly
she was a
coercion.
victim.
And that is when she wanted to
She
leave
was
and
his
he threatened
girlfriend.
her with the videos. I would love to see more of a timeline
10 years. She said it started like the first year of their relationship, right?
come out, because I'm not seeing
10
just a clear
years.
timeline. And I think, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was going to say, I
okay.
think this. I think
Yeah.
this all comes down to closing arguments. There's a lot here. There is a lot
Yeah.
here, and I think the prosecution and the defense needs to crystallize it, like you said, with a timeline, matching it up to the elements. I'm a lawyer. And
Yeah.
let me tell you, explaining this to people, what racketeering is, sex trafficking, how all these allegations match up to the elements. It's complicated.
It's complex. Yeah, it is.
So, got another question for you. Got a lot of questions coming in right now. Again, we're waiting to go back into the courtroom as soon as that begins.
Okay, we're gonna end that clip there. I have a clip of, okay, you know how Aubrey O'Day was in Making the Band? We're gonna watch a clip from Making the Band. The Diddy and Aubrey clip. I thought it would be interesting to play. Is she gonna testify? I've been waiting for her to testify or say something.
You want to be naked, but the whole concept of Danity Kane was like, when it comes together, you want to show all your skin, you want to be naked, but the whole concept of Danity Kane was like, when it comes together, it's one.
Puff's going hard on the group, and then all of a sudden he singles me out and starts going on and on about how unhappy he is with me, and I just feel like nothing that I do he's ever happy with.
Can I ask a question? What do you want to look like, though? Do you want to look like a playboy, playmate? Do you want to look like you?
I'm done with all of that.
No.
Like,
what do you want to look like, though?
I'll tell you.
What do you want to look like, though?
I'll tell you. I'm not focused on me. I'm focused on what this group should look like and how I should fit in this situation.
You like big hair, though.
I don't like big hair.
Like big hair. You like big hair. You like a lot of makeup and all that.
Actually, I don't. I don't like big hair. I don't like certain makeup. I'm very flexible with what you want to do. And I've worked with everything that you've thrown
I'm
at
not seeing the flexibility. You gaming me.
Your hair people came in today and they said this is how it needs to be.
You know what I'm talking about.
Care.
You're pushing your own image, though.
I'm not worried about whether my hair is straight, curly, whatever. I'm not here in a group to have curly, straight, big, makeup, whatever. I'm here in a group to sing with my group. And that is all I care about. For real. Like, maybe you just don't get me and we don't get each other.
Because if I pulled in all of the makeup artists and all of the hair people, they would not say that.
With the wardrobe, did I not try and cover up all the problem areas that I've been seeing where
He does
yes,
problem
we had that
and
conversation yesterday.
How are you gonna get crazy with me? I work well with these people.
But it's
We're
not
cool.
necessarily just the stomach area. You
No,
have to
I'm talking about all of it. I mean, I was cool with whatever change he wanted to make today and I did it.
Yes, you were today, but Aubrey, you have to admit that sometimes when you want to do something, you want to do it.
Well, yeah, I see what the problems are on TV, Puff, when people are looking crazy, or this is looking crazy, that's looking crazy. You even told me, review the things you do and pay attention to what the problem is. So I see what I do and I see, ooh, that was not a good look. Let me fix that. I read the things that people say. You're the one that told me to do that. I do that and I make an honest assessment.
I don't want you to look like
with
Pamela
myself.
Anderson. I don't want to sound Pamela.
Well, that's
in the direction. Well, you don't look like her. You don't look like that girl that I signed.
I'm glad you know who Aubrey is. Puff, it's 3 years later.
It's 3 years later and you're going in the wrong direction.
Okay, well,
you're going in the wrong direction. You need to stop the truck, pull over. I'm not changing nothing.
Okay, well, you wanted the weed out with the weed out.
I just want you to look good.
You're not happy. You hate me. Then why you have me here?
I don't have to have you here. That's one thing that we can make clear. That's one thing we can make clear.
But
I don't have to have you here. I'm trying.
Why do you have me here? Because every time it's just such a problem.
I have you here. I have you here because I feel you talented. But don't get it twisted. I'm starting to think about why do I have you here.
I'm not getting
okay, so you clear on that though. Check this out. You clear on that. You understand now. I'm asking myself why do I have you here? So I'll move on to something else. No, and I'll give you the answer soon. All right? And you may not be here then.
Okay. Before it gets to that.
And anybody that want to go with you, they could go too. Don't get it twisted, man. It gets dark and lonely. It does, trust me.
Them good old MTV days. Is that MTV? Yeah. I wish neither listened to it. Oh, let me ask. That is crazy. How mean is Diddy? Okay, let's go back to I have one more clip I want to show. Actually, I think I have two more clips. What's it doing now? Wait, can you guys hear that? Oh my God. You're like, we can't hear anything. I was playing the wrong screen. Oh my, how embarrassing. How embarrassing. Okay, let's do that again.
The courtroom, because I understand there might be a new person in the courtroom. Was Diddy's sister there today?
Yep, Diddy's sister definitely was inside that courtroom. She's actually been kind of a figure that's been inside and present inside that courtroom, while the other family members, including the sons, including the daughters, including Janice Combs, Diddy's mother, haven't been inside that courtroom. But we definitely still saw Diddy's sister inside that courtroom, just kind of paying attention to everything, as well as even one of Diddy's childhood friends. He's the one who's always kind of wearing the Free Puff sweatshirt, the Free Puff hat, while he's outside of the courtroom, definitely not inside the courtroom. But yeah, definitely Diddy did have some people on his side today, but just wasn't that full family presence that we were used to seeing, especially in those first couple of days.
Oh, yeah, it's interesting to always hear who appears there. Okay, so I have to talk about the testimony right now. We can get into David James in a little bit, but we talked about him a little bit yesterday.
Talk about David James.
Talk to me about Cassandra Ventura's mother. So we knew that she was going to testify today. What was her value to the prosecution's case? Let's start there, and then we'll move into the cross-examination.
Yeah, well, initially we had thought, and by we mean me, Elizabeth, thought that Cassie's mother was inside that courtroom. I spoke with Cassie's attorney, Doug Wigder, who informed me that the person that we had initially thought was Cassie's mom was actually a victim's right advocate. So when Cassie's mom came into that courtroom, I was like, yes, this is definitely Cassie's mother, because they look so much alike. You would think that they were just looking kind of at an older version, a little bit of Cassie. But when she came inside that courtroom today to give her testimony, she just kind of walked up to the witness stand, kind of similar to how other witnesses have been doing it. But I think most notably, Diddy didn't really look in her way or look in her direction, at least when she had first entered the courtroom. At least when Cassie came inside the courtroom to do her testimony, even if it was on a day of cross, if it was on a day of direct, Diddy would kind of turn around and look whenever she had entered that courtroom, if he wasn't kind of chatting with his lawyers or anything like that. But as far as Regina Ventura coming into the courtroom today, it wasn't the same case. Diddy kind of sat while he was at his defense table, chatting with his lawyers. But a lot of the testimony, as far as Regina Ventura being on the stand today, was kind of in relation to just everything she had witnessed from her daughter during her relationship with Diddy years before. So she had essentially said that she had met Diddy for the first time in 2006, actually when Diddy wasn't Cassie's boyfriend. This is when Cassie was actually signing to Bad Boy. Regina just knew of Diddy as Cassie's boss at the time, before the two being Cassie and Diddy began dating. They dated here in New York City, and then they had moved to Los Angeles together. And once they made that move to LA, because Regina Ventura, according to her, she had been living in New London, Connecticut for about 57 years. So she has roots here on the East Coast. So when Cassie had moved over to the West Coast, it wasn't the same situation, because she's all the way on the other side of the country, essentially. And so the contact and the visits weren't as frequent as when she was here in New York. But even when she was here in New York, it wasn't that often too. But what the prosecution really wanted to know from Regina was everything that had happened specifically in December of 2011. If you guys remember that time period, that's around the time that Diddy had accused Cassie of cheating on him with Kid Cudi and the whole Kid Cudi relationship. So around this time period, Cassie came home from the holidays.
I can't wait to hear Kid Cudi testify tomorrow.
We
He
saw an
does.
exhibit photo from an email
I'm really
from
looking
December
forward to
23rd of
hearing that.
2011, where Cassie emailed her mom on this email under
Thank
the
you, Purple.
email address of Veronica Bang, one of the aliases that she had
Thanks for
used.
being here.
And she also attached Capricorn Clark, who had worked for Diddy, into this email. So I was able to scribble down just as much as I could as far as what all the contents were in this email, because this is an email that we had previously seen before. And so what Cassie relayed to her mother as well as Capricorn Clark was the threats that have been made toward me the threats that have been made toward me by Sean Combs are that he's going to release 2 explicit sex tapes of me. One
He's
on Christmas
blackmailing
Day, maybe
everybody.
before or right after, and another one sometime soon after. He also said that he will be having someone hurt me and Scott being Kid Cudi, physically. And it wouldn't be at the hands of Diddy himself. It would be essentially kind of saying that it would be up to somebody else's hands. But
Wow.
when Cassie's mom was on the stand and just kind of responding to everything like that, she had said things such as, the sex tapes threw me. I thought he was trying to hurt my daughter. And then they brought in that Diddy essentially demanded $20,000 from Cassie, pretty much to the point that Regina and her husband, Cassie's father, took out a home equity loan for $20,000 just to meet Diddy's demand after he had requested money. And so Regina said that Diddy was essentially angry because he had spent money on Cassie, and Cassie was with somebody else, that other person being Kid Cudi, and that Regina had sent this $20,000 check after getting this loan from the bank to the bad boy account. But here's the thing, Jesse, is just 4 to 5 days later, this check was actually returned to Regina and her family. So the money was given back to them. And
Wow.
This is something before the jury had even come in today that they were talking about in court outside of the presence of the jury, because the defense didn't want this testimony yet. They wanted
Did he give him the
nobody
money
to hear
back?
this testimony. But this testimony came in today, so we did
He's
kind of know what a
ridiculous.
preview of it would be. And so she had testified to that fact today while on the stand. But we had seen some more exhibit photos, those taken of Regina, again, in that 2011 time period, of Cassie being bruised. They had mentioned that Cassie, her particular hairstyle around this time was that of a shaved head. Regina confirmed that between 2009 to 2011, Cassie's hair was shaved, and that's what the hairstyle that we had seen of Cassie kind of posing with some of the bruises inflicted by her then boyfriend, that being of Diddy. And so a lot of the big testimony, especially when it came to Regina Ventura being under direct examination, was about this $20,000 loan. Then there was another incident they had talked about. This one from this is from 2016. So this was around, this was actually that same year the Intercontinental Hotel incident had happened, that essentially Regina traveled to LA for Cassie's birthday. Diddy took Cassie's phone after being mad at her. And then there was this whole incident where Regina called the police, and that Diddy gave the phone back eventually.
Cassie shaving her head reminds me of the Britney Spears incident, like so much trauma, you just finally
Regina was screaming at Diddy to get her daughter her phone back, and that Regina even owned up to the fact that she tried to hit Diddy, while the person in the middle of this was D-Rock, one of the security guards, was in this kind of trying to de-escalate the entire situation. But when it came to the cross-examination, I didn't even know what to expect for the cross-examination. But spoiler alert, there actually was no cross-examination. Mark Agnifilo got up on the stand and he essentially said, "I have no questions for you, Miss Ventura." Yep. And then Regina Ventura was off the witness stand and done for the day.
Yeah, I think that's very strategic when defense chooses not to cross-examine a witness. There might be no benefit to them. There might be nothing they need to gain. They might be accepting what she says and just recharacterizing it. Remember, big theme in this case.
I kind of like that Agnifilo didn't do that.
It's not, it might be domestic violence, might be a turbulent relationship, but it's not sex trafficking or racketeering. Okay. So, Elizabeth, I know I only have a few more minutes with you, so I want to move on to the additional testimony.
I'm like, is it just me?
Of a man we heard about last week. The Punisher, that's his nickname. Who is the Punisher? What did he testify to so far?
Yep. Well, the Punisher, when he had come in, didn't even realize he was the Punisher.
I don't
Let me
like
tell
that
you something,
name.
Jesse. When we're seeing these exhibit photos of all the different men and the different escorts that were used during these freak offs or were kind of playing this type of role and these fantasies that were talked about during testimony. Sometimes it's hard to be like, oh, wow, that's actually this person. So when Sheree Hayes walked inside the courtroom today, I was like, oh, they're going to have another testimony from another person who worked with Diddy. But that wasn't the case. Immediately, just right off the bat, he had said that his nickname was the Punisher and that he was a male exotic dancer. And I was like, oh, that kind of clicked. So he had walked in. He's a very tall man. He's well put together. He had an entire suit on with a tie. He's very built. And the first thing that the prosecution asked was just about the exhibit photos, those exhibit photos being just kind of a standard press photo, essentially, of Diddy and Cassie. And he confirmed that that's Cassie Ventura and that's Sean Combs, aka Diddy. And so he said in the fall of 2012, he was paid to create a sexy erotic scene for a woman who had called him. He said that he met the two while he was working at a club event, but it was a woman who had called him saying that she wanted kind of a present by her husband around her birthday time, and that her husband said it was okay if she were to hire a dancer. So the Punisher initially thought that he was going to be doing kind of a dance for women at a bachelorette party, but when somebody opened the door, it was, lo and behold, Cassie Ventura. He had said that she was wearing a bathrobe and she was a wig, and initially didn't even recognize her at first. But this was this first meetup that they had, again, expecting a crowd during this, but really it was just Cassie in the room. Again, not knowing it was Cassie at the time. And then he was told that her husband wanted her to put baby oil on each other and create this kind of fantasy, this erotic scene essentially, and that Cassie handed him $800. But he had one kind of stipulation. He was told specifically not to acknowledge the husband or say anything to him. He said all the furniture was covered with sheets. There was baby oil and water off to the side, and that the Punisher and Cassie just rubbed baby oil on one another. He said after, while this was kind of going on, a man came out. He was nude. He had Astroglide in his hand, and however, his face was covered.
Oh my gosh, Astroglide getting
during this,
so
the husband,
much
per se,
promo.
was pleasuring himself and that type of thing. And the prosecution asked, was this man giving any type of direction or anything like that? The Punisher responded that that the direction was move to the side or position your body a certain way, and that this entire encounter lasted about 25 minutes to about half an hour, and that he actually didn't know it was Diddy or Sean Combs himself until later on. But he said after this whole entire encounter, he got more money, an additional $1,200. And then he was contacted again a few times. And he said he did this about 8 to 12 times even after the fact. And so that's where we would wrap up when we were getting out of court for the lunch break. And so I expect testimony to pick up and go more into just everything the Punisher had kind of did during.
So we heard all about the Punisher when we read the documents. I believe his name was Sheree. Okay, I played this the other night on an afterguard, this Diddy and Bieber video. We're reminiscent. Let's watch this real quick.
I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So, and we gonna go full crazy.
We're going crazy.
Crazy.
When Sean Diddy Combs' properties were raided in March of 2024, there was a lot of speculation about what might be found inside and whether it would be connected to any of his celebrity friends and acquaintances. As Homeland Security agents poured out of his mansions in LA and Miami with boxes full of electronics, there were rumors that if Combs filmed his elaborate sex performances called freak-offs or other parties, there could be video evidence of possible criminal activity. And the celebrity at the center of a lot of rumors, warranted or not, was Justin Bieber. But now, during week 1 of Combs' criminal trial, the singer has officially responded to allegations that Combs may have abused him.
Is Bieber lying? He lying.
As he was coming up in the music industry. We're going to talk about that right now. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Hey, everybody, this is another Law and Crime Legal Alert.
Oh, I went too far.
Less than 10 questions and check your eligibility. Bieber, now 31 years old. He was discovered when he was just 12, went on to become one of the most best-selling musical artists of all time, had some pretty high-profile influences like R&B superstar Usher, became Justin's mentor, controversial record executive Scooter Braun was his manager as the teen basically shot to stardom. And among his celebrity acquaintances was, of course, music titan Sean Diddy Combs, who had been Usher's mentor in the 90s and early 2000s. And Bieber had spent some time with Combs over the years. Combs' wild party lifestyle has always been something of an open secret, with him often joking about it on daytime and late night talk shows. But in the last year or so, very, very different. More and more allegations.
I truly hope that he's okay. I don't know if I believe that this is not true. I think he knows some stuff. But I hope he
out against Combs that are really no laughing matter. Civil lawsuits that made rape and extortion claims, rumors that celebrities could be involved in nefarious behavior with Combs behind closed doors, even claims by one man that he had in his possession actual sex tapes featuring Combs and other celebrities. And as we know, Combs is currently on trial in the Southern District of New York on charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, transportation to engage in prostitution. By the way, and as week one wraps up, check out all of our Diddy coverage on Long Crimes YouTube channel. We've been breaking down all of the latest developments. So not only do we do daily recaps with our correspondent Elizabeth Milner, who's inside the courtroom because there's no cameras there, but we've also been doing legal analysis with some of our favorite guests, breaking down the big legal issues that are happening every day in that court. So make sure to go check it out. But one of the biggest rumors that has been hanging over the entire Diddy saga was Justin Bieber a victim of his alleged predatory and inappropriate behavior? Well, I'll tell you what, now, as week one of Combs' sex trafficking and racketeering trial comes to a close, Justin Bieber's camp is finally responding. So his representatives told TMZ, quote, although Justin is not among Sean Combs' victims, there are individuals who are genuinely harmed by him. Shifting focus away from this reality detracts from the justice these victims rightfully deserve. So to talk about this, I want to bring back on former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani. Nima, so good to see you. Thanks so much for coming
maybe
on
it's
Sidebar.
true. Maybe he was
I want to talk about the
victim.
timing of this. The timing of this statement.
I don't know. What do you guys
Justin
think?
Bieber's camp. This can't be just a coincidence.
Do y'all believe that? Let me know. Let me know your opinion. I don't think Justin is okay. You can see it by just looking at him. Yeah, something's not right. I feel it in my soul.
No, it can't be, because one of the biggest questions in the Diddy trial is what other celebrities will be named, who participated in the freak-offs and who witnessed the freak-offs. I mean, Diddy's white parties are infamous. And one of the victims that people have been talking about for about a year and a half now has been Justin Bieber. And now finally, after week one of trial, when we know that Don Richard is the next witness and we're going to start hearing who the government thinks is going to help corroborate their case, we are not going to hear from Justin Bieber.
I love
it
me
really
some
goes
Justin
back
Bieber
to
too,
a video when he was about 15 years old, when Combs said he was going to spend 48 hours with Justin Bieber. And that's when all the speculation began. Bieber's camp didn't say anything until now, but I think it's important that he did. And he also, like many celebrities in Hollywood, want to stay as far away from the Diddy trial as possible.
Because you think that there was talk of him testifying and he didn't, he wanted to shut that down.
I think so. I think people want to know, because look, the trial's lasting 2 months, right? 8 weeks, maybe even 10 weeks. And I know Judge Subramanian is trying to move it along as quickly as he can. But now that Cassie Ventura is wrapping up her testimony, we know that we're going to hear from a couple other victims. But the government—
Shout out to Charleston. Was it Charleston and Gene?
Needs to fill that time. And what they want to do is put on victims that really aren't in a romantic relationship and never have been with Combs, right? Cassie got impeached with some of that, the emails, the text messages, the words that she put, those words of affirmation. So to the extent that there are other victims, that's how the government's going to be able to overwhelm the defense here. And if it's a celebrity victim, even better.
See, here's the thing. I think about it.
He's right.
And I'm sure he didn't want to, I guess the idea is, not distract from the conversation that's being had, but to make a statement towards the end of the week, after opening statements, after or towards the conclusion of Cassandra Ventura's testimony, when he makes a statement confirming that there were people harmed by Combs, does that signify to you that he believes the prosecution's case, or does he think it's beyond the criminal case and based on the accusations we've seen in the civil arena?
I think it's probably the former. And like you said, the key part of that statement was denying that he was a victim, but really talking about the other victims. And it wasn't alleged victims. He said other victims, well, through his spokesperson. So I think that is very, very important. This isn't a Michael Jackson type case where, you know, celebrities are rushing to Combs's defense. Very few people are. And the fact that you have someone come out that really isn't 50 Cent or someone who, you know, is trying to make light of it or a documentary about it and really point the finger at Diddy, that's a big deal, Jesse.
Mm-hmm. And he mentioned harmed by him, right? It was very specific language. They were genuinely harmed by him, and the shifting focus away from this reality distracts from the justice these victims rightfully deserve. There's no way to parse that language.
There isn't. And the defense is obviously trying to separate physical harm from sex trafficking and sexual assault. But, you know, the average person who's watching isn't going to be making that distinction. That may matter in the case, but it's not going to matter in the court of public opinion.
And, you know, Bieber's statement, it comes as this TikTok started floating around on Friday. There was a doctored image of Bieber where he allegedly announces that he's going to testify against Combs, but the video was quickly debunked as fake. And Nima, I mean, you think at the end of the day, are we going to see some celebrity or celebrity friends testify at this trial?
I think we have to,
like
because
Ashton,
there's got to be independent witnesses that
who was the other one we
saw
earlier?
some of this, right? I'm not saying maybe the actual freak-offs themselves, maybe there are other participants, but, you know, Combs was very public, and Cassie Ventura, to the extent that she was abused, it's like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, right? You got Kate Moss was brought into that case. People that are rich and famous celebrities, they have rich and famous celebrity friends, right? That's why Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, we're talking about Taylor Swift. This is a small circle here in Hollywood. So
Hollywood.
The independent witnesses are very likely going to be other celebrities. So I think we're just starting to scratch the surface when it comes to that.
So the question becomes, why do fans believe that Justin...
Okay, I have a live on Ashton coming. I know. I have so much to get caught up on. And for all the new viewers, we don't just replay Law and Crime on my channel. I do deep dive and I do my own content. It's been a while because I'm catching up on Carrie Reed and Diddy trial. So if you're a new sub, check out the playlist. We will be doing deep dives. Really good deep dives. I think you guys are going to like. A lot of older cases that are coming into the light right now that we'll be deep diving. So definitely keep a lookout.
Bieber could have been one of Sean Combs' targets, right? You mentioned it before. Well, as the legal saga against Combs ramped up last year, there was video clips that started to resurface of Combs and Bieber spending some time together.
No. I have questions about Ashton and the Brittany Murphy thing. That's what I want to talk about.
Often kind of straddled the line between awkward and inappropriate. And Bieber sometimes seemed...
And Diddy and Aaliyah, too.
Really uncomfortable. For example, when Bieber was 15 years old, he uploaded a video to his YouTube channel called 48 Hours with Diddy. And this is where he said he was going to be hanging out with the rapper
Who's going to write me a 4-page letter?
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy.
We've seen this.
They're having the times of their lives, like
48 Hours with Diddy. He sounds like he's making a corn video. And then look at this little baby over here. Like cradle robbery. Like what is going on?
You know, where we hanging out and what we doing.
What?
We can't really disclose.
I still have that, Joel.
But it's
I have like
definitely
10
a 15-year-old
I've been wanting to play. Maybe this week I'll get
some fans called out Combs for allegedly grooming behavior they say was exhibited in this video, spending time at his home with a young kid who suddenly did the world of fame and money, taking him under his wing, offering up
I'm an MJ fan. Don't come for me.
That he could only dream
the music.
of.
Yeah, so as soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come in LA. Yeah, it's gonna be yours. So every time you come in LA, it's a little dusty, but you know.
He's disgusting.
Man.
Minute.
Okay.
All
right, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Now, look, of course, this could all be for the camera, it could be performative. Bieber could have left right after this. We don't really know, but The video made the rounds. Speculation around Combs grew. And then another clip surfaced. And this one posted to Combs' YouTube page showing another interaction.
He's a total
this time,
predator.
apparently in a studio.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh?
Did we ever find out where the Bieber's parents were? Like, I know it's hard to judge. I'm not trying to judge. I'm not. But like, what the heck?
You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Correct. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
It's awkward. I don't know. It could have been a joke for the cameras. Nima, what do you take away from these videos?
Yeah, it's awkward and it's weird. So, look, if it's just by itself, maybe you look past it. But there's been a lot of allegations involving minors, not in the criminal case. That hasn't been charged. That would be a game changer, but in the civil lawsuits. So I'm not saying that those are true, but sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire. And you have a lot of these civil claimants alleging that Combs is also sexually abusing men and boys and children. So again, not charged in the criminal case, but given those allegations out there, I think it's something that people are going to pick up on, and rumors and speculation are going to fly.
So according to sources who spoke to TMZ, Bieber was actually friends with Combs' sons, and that many of his past public appearances with Combs have been, quote, performative. So in 2015, Combs presented Bieber with an American Music Award for Best Collaboration and gave him a big hug on stage. And then in 2020, Bieber did an interview with Apple Music. And in it, he expressed how he wishes he could protect other young artists like Billie Eilish from some of what he experienced in the music industry as a teenager. But he didn't really elaborate beyond that.
And now he's
one of
saying
Bieber's most
happened.
recent interactions with Combs was even more awkward than the prior ones, if that's possible. It reportedly took place in 2021. Nima, I want you to take a look at this with me, okay? So in the video, Bieber with shaggy hair, under a baseball cap, he greets Diddy. He's got a big smile on his face, but something seems just a little bit off about the whole thing because Combs seems to pat Bieber's chest. There are some who have speculated that he was making sure Bieber wasn't wearing a wire, even though there's no way to actually confirm that.
This is weird. This is so weird. And the money, the money, right?
Nima, what do you make of that?
Yeah, awkward and weird. I'm not surprised people think that he was patting him down. Just not something that you typically see. And again, it's just part of this real pattern of kind of strange conduct between Combs and Bieber. So I understand why people are speculating that it's something.
Is he patting them down, or is he telling them about what's going to happen at a freak off later?
Something more than just this innocent friendship.
In 2023, Bieber had collaborated with Combs on the song
to avoid
Moments
the shame of
from
being
Combs'
sexually
last
abused.
studio release. It's called The Love Album, Off the Grid, and it featured collaborations with a lot of different artists. Justin Bieber has had a lot of ups and downs over the years.
Imagine making an album titled Love and then naming your child that. Baby Love has nothing to do with his crimes, but like really the hypocrisy, the narcissistic qualities we see all throughout Diddy.
Pretty much watched him grow up.
The present,
that
the
meant
trial.
that many of his mistakes and questionable decisions were fodder for the tabloids. In fact, Law and Crime Sierra Gillespie actually put together a great episode on Bieber's latest.
Are they complicit in helping their father run this enterprise, allegedly?
The struggles in the spotlight for our new channel, Scandal. I encourage everybody to go check it out. But there has been speculation that possible abuse in Bieber's past could be a source for some of his bad boy behavior and potential mental health problems in recent years. Now, Nima, that could be a stretch. Some could see it as a connection. Are you think there's something to that or not?
It could. People are speculating, right? I mean, obviously, I'm here in Hollywood, and people will see Justin Bieber looking disheveled or losing weight. And, of course, the tabloids are going to jump to conclusions, right? Is it drugs? Is it relationship problems? Is it trauma from past sex abuse? And it's really impossible to know what, if anything, he's going through, but he does appear to be acting and looking differently as of late.
But some will say, if he's making this comment now, and they're looking at his past interactions and making comments through the over the years, about protecting young artists, this is a big question that a lot of celebrities have. And I'm not pointing the finger at anybody, but there are those who I'm sure will say, if celebrities knew something, why didn't they say something? And
Right.
by the way, that came up with the Harvey Weinstein case, right? People allegedly knew rumors about his behaviors, but rumors, one thing, how much do you definitively know? What do you say to that? Because again, we obviously don't know who knew what. I don't believe this trial is going to sort through any of that whatsoever. I don't think we're going to be seeing big names either being named in this trial or even taking the stand. But what do you say to the argument somebody had to know something if these allegations are true?
Look, I think it's a fair argument, Jesse. This seems like it was one of the worst kept secrets in Hollywood. How can you sexually abuse or assault people for a span of years or decades and people not know, especially when a lot of this happened in hotel rooms or with other people around? This is the same arguments people make with respect to Weinstein or Epstein or other abusers. This isn't your typical sexual assault that is behind closed doors without other people present. That's one of the things that makes this case so unique. And look, there is going to be speculation and there is going to be rumors and there are going to be rumors. And that's what social media is all about. I mean, we saw some of the rumors dispelled this week when Cassie was saying, you know what, the baby oil didn't contain drugs. Even the government star witness is addressing some of these rumors on that witness stand. I'm not surprised Bieber and his reps are doing the same.
Yeah. So you think a lot of eyeballs on Hollywood are on this trial?
No question. And I think people are afraid that they're going to be wrapped up in this because it can be, a career killer. Even if the allegations are out there, right? If you knew something and you didn't say something and there's a witness that gets on that stand, and look, maybe Cassie is prepped and she's just staying in her lane, but we don't know what the other witnesses are going to say. Just you and I have tried all sorts of cases, and witnesses can go off the rails, or there could be tangents, or there could be allegations thrown out. One of the next victims, they say something about someone else. It's going to be very damaging, not just in that courtroom, but outside the courtroom as well.
If he gets convicted, do you think you're going to hear people speak out and say, this is what happened to me, now I finally want to tell my story? Do you think that's a possibility?
I do. I think, there are people that probably are afraid of him. And if he is indeed locked up for the rest of his life, I think they will be more empowered to come forward. Absolutely.
Nima Rahmani.
Okay, I want to watch a clip. There's an old clip of Cassie, and then I want to watch a Diddy White Party clip. It's like a 3-minute clip. But I want to watch a clip about Cassie in 2006. I thought this was interesting to see. I kind of like revisiting these older.
Cassie, I moved to New York to when I was 18, the dream of being in the entertainment industry.
I do really love that song. I'm gonna fast forward through a lot of the music.
Gorgeous, drop dead, gorgeous girl celebrating a birthday party, and I just saw that flock of girls.
I don't want to get flagged.
A young lady by the name of Mila, who had told me about this young woman who had a beautiful texture to her voice that just needed to be developed.
This is from. You want to know how long ago this video is? Yo, I think it's from like 15 years ago or something. Oh, no. I'm gonna get flagged with this.
From there.
I didn't know they played that much music in here.
She performed the record
I wanted to see the Diddy part.
in Germany, and we performed this record, and people it was just something magic about this record.
I really do love that song
for me, but that's how the song grew. I performed "Miss Your Touch" and "Me and You," and people fell in love with "Me and You" in Germany.
So this is like when she was already involved with Diddy. Look at how like young and naive she is.
And then it just spread out, and as soon as when it got to the States,
wow,
it was big everywhere else.
And we have somebody new here to Toronto.
Isn't that wild?
I know, new to the scene, new on the charts, and we're doing up real here, real
Like
big.
how
here on
young
93.5.
she
We
was
got their
then?
song blazing. Everybody's been asking about that sample, man. And me and you sample. What's that girl? What's her name?
It's my first radio interview, and I'm really, really nervous. What's up? My name is Cassie. I'm with Next Election, and I'm so excited that you guys are playing my song. This is incredible.
Melly, why are you playing this? It's important for us to look at what she was like, right, when she was initially getting started.
DJs all the time, radio DJs, mixed it at the
She's
same
so pretty
time.
though. And so
I'm
young.
going to throw to the big tune now, so I'm going to let you do the honors of throwing to that tune.
What's up? This is Cassie of Next Election, and this is my song "Me and You" on Flow 93.5.
Oh. She just wanted to make music.
That's where.
He lays down a beat. We he plays back and forth. Like, do you like this? What do you want to hear?
She just wanted to be a singer. She wanted to make music, and she ended up being a sex slave. That's what it was.
What's your mood?
Or did it?
You got a long way to go. Stay away from me.
She's so cute. She's so cute there. Hell no. What? Oh, I like Tupac. I'm a Tupac fan. Okay, last clip. Diddy White Party. It's a 3-minute clip. Get ready. Here we go. This was 15 years ago. Diddy White Party.
I'm from Cali on the beach, man. Venice Beach. Venice Beach. Yeah. That's a printer. Give a shout out.
There he is, Ashton Kutcher. Where you at? We've been talking about you all night, and you are at a 2009 Diddy All White Party.
So, like, we here to try to raise money for these, mosquito bed nets. So if you don't understand, just imagine living in Africa and your little infant child just gets bit by a mosquito and he dies.
We got punked. We got punked. We did not know who Ashton really was.
So let's party.
Shall we all file a lawsuit against Ashton Kutcher? Ashton Kutcher punked us. The whole time he was punking all these people. No. We got punked. Kelso punked us with the freak offs. Not put that on everybody, right? Ashton, definitely. I'm trying to see who's all there. Yeah, I see you. Eva Longoria? Is that Eva Longoria? No, looks like her. Oh, great. Was that Demi Moore? Yeah. No question. And yeah, not everybody here is involved. Not everybody here is guilty. Oh my God, come for them. No, but no questions. Oh, getting darker. Dang, this is like their fun parties, eh? Who that? I love me some Michael J. No, they did not play Biggie there. Just kidding. This is all white party outside. Okay, I have one more video. I was gonna just cut it off, but I really want to watch Gene Deal. I was gonna say Dean Deal. My dislikes it. This is all white party outside. What happens later? The party after the after party. Actually, we can watch that clip. Let's watch a little bit of it. The Gene Deal. And then I'm sending you off to bed. Melly's tucking you in. Night night. Like Sarah Boone says.
Deal. Happy to have you back on the
It's night
platform.
night time.
Man, we've been here, done that. Let's do it again.
I do like Gene Deal.
But you got a couple of questions for me right now, don't you? Yeah, man, I got a lot to ask you. All right, man. Hey, before you
The real
have
art.
Big go to
The
that
art of
part.
dialogue.
Now, it came out in the trial about D-Rock. Cassie was mentioning a lot of stuff about D-Rock. It's a couple of stories I knew. One, D-Rock told me the story. You understand? When I first was trying to get in touch with Puff. And two, I heard what Cassie had said. But I don't want to address that because I don't know your line of questioning. But I do want to address this. That D-Rock is the one who
Don't
got
take us in a suitcase.
Big out the room. And that's when he Puff had took D-Rock about all day, and me and Big was in a Winnebago together talking about his whole life story. Big told me his whole life story. I told this 1,000 times, brother. But in the trial, Cassie had said something about D-Rock being head of Puff security after I had left.
Thank you.
You understand? And that's when D-Rock had came home.
This is from the Art of Dialogue. If you guys haven't watched that channel, go watch it and watch all of Gene's interviews because he tells us
You understand? They all moved out to
prior
California, the
to
whole
Diddy
9
being
yards.
arrested.
Now, D-Rock let Puff trick him. I don't believe that D-Rock was that sinister and knew what he was doing. I can't believe that he knew what he was doing and getting Big to that party. I knew that Puff may have promised him something. Puff may have promised D-Rock something to help him get Big to that party. Because for some reason, Big had to be at that party because Puff is the one who, and you'll see in Kirk Burroughs' papers, that Puff is the one who scratched out Big trip from going to London and then turned around and lied that Big didn't want to go to London, which was a bunch of crap. You understand what I'm saying? Because he asked Clark Kent to go to London with him. He asked Clark Kent to go to London with him. And Clark Kent was going to go to London with him, God bless the dead. You understand? Clark Kent told that story. Now, in this trial, Cassie was telling how D-Rock and Puff was trying to line Suge Knight up. But like I said, I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm just going to get in the fact that D-Rock has been with Puff since Big died. You understand? He went and did a little time, and when he was in jail, he was letting everybody know when he come home, Puff was going to take care of him.
Okay, so question to you guys. Do we think some of these employees, the bodyguards, I know like the chef testified and the assistant, but some of the bodyguards and some of the other people, should they be held accountable? Should they be charged with something, even if it's, I don't know, some kind of domestic violence, complicit? I don't know what they could charge them for doing, holding Cassie hostage in some situations, giving her drugs. I mean, should these people be held accountable? Or are they victims as well?
At a Puff security, making sure Puff was all right. Puff also gave him
Popular
that
opinion.
clothing line, which was bully.
Accessory to crimes. Oh, that's what aiding and abetting.
It
Thank
was
you.
Big's ideal, but it was invisible
I
bully.
should know that.
You understand? Gave him that clothing line. They was doing a little work, and he was doing the T-shirts and everything like that. And I guess Puff was actually,
Aiding and
paying
abetting.
him back for helping him get big to that party. I'm glad Miss Wallace ain't here, brother, to see and hear
Miss Wallace.
what we're finding out about D-Rock now and the things that he did and how he was, so close to Puff and doing some of the things with Puff. And it's crazy right now. I'm glad Miss Wallace is not here.
I don't think I've ever heard that Diddy has gone after Gene Deal. And I wonder if that's because Gene Deal tells the truth and he knows better, right? Did he?
Because she was somewhat fond of D-Rock. You understand? She was really fond of D-Rock. But it's crazy, man, how all this stuff is going out. And I told this story,
We're just watching a
and
few
now
minutes
it's
of this.
become viral on a lot of platforms, and a lot of things is going viral on the internet that D-Rock helped line Big up, for that night Big got murdered. You understand? And
heck no.
It was crazy, and it goes through my mind every time I hear something about that, when I'm seeing D-Rock hold his head talking about, yo, they got my man, the night Big got shot up. So I just wanted to bring that out there, bro.
Justice for Aaliyah, Biggie, Tupac, all of Diddy's victims. Last clip, 2-minute clip. This is about a child who was at a Diddy party when he was only 6 years old, and he talks about it. 2-minute clip.
Music
If you want to
mogul
watch the rest of the Gene interview that just came out, I think 4 days ago, Artabella.
Diddy Combs was famous for holding his annual 4th of July party in the Hamptons. All of the well-known partygoers wore white, and it wasn't exactly a family-friendly event.
6-year-old.
Now imagine you're a 6-year-old kid and you find yourself a guest there. Allison Hall has more.
Can you believe this 6-year-old boy was once a guest at Diddy's infamous white party? The disgraced mogul has his arm draped around a young Justin Livtowski back in 1999. Justin is now 31 and tells Inside Edition about taking that photo.
He put his arm around me in an uncomfortable way, close to areas that you shouldn't as a grown man.
He recalls what he saw at the party.
So I remember marijuana, and topless women. That's the two main things that I remember.
So how'd he end up there? Well, his father, David Allen, was Diddy's photographer, snapping pictures of partygoers in the Hamptons.
That's the white party we were just watching.
Justin's mom, Maya, was also there. She says the party was family-friendly at first, but then turned raunchy.
People were getting high. There were girls swimming topless, young-looking girls that were not dressed. We moved to another part of the house so that he wouldn't be exposed to what was going on.
In later years, Diddy implemented a curfew for children.
The kids have like an hour left. So get extra comfortable, but this thing turns into something that when y'all get older, y'all won't want to come to.
I think he's a monster.
This week,
It
Houston-based
turns into
lawyer
something that when y'all get older, y'all will want to come to.
Tony Busby says more than 120 people are coming forward with claims Diddy sexually abused them.
Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15.
Did Diddy assault you in any way?
When you say assault, I don't know the exact definition, but he put his arm around me in an uncomfortable way.
Diddy is now behind.
Wow. I know. It's wild. This Diddy trial is wild. I appreciate you guys for hanging out and being here. I'm not covering it fully throughout the day, but I am doing recaps in the evenings, and we are also covering Karen Reed. I had a Karen Reed scheduled tonight. We might have to reschedule Karen Reed tomorrow. We need to do a Karen Reed marathon. But nonetheless, thanks for being here. That was day 5 and 6. 20 years too late, it seems. Yeah, I agree. Since like the 80s or the 90s, right? I can't believe it. But I'm wishing all the victims the best. Cassie, I hope her pregnancy is going well. Nothing good for Diddy. No, just kidding. But really, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button. We will be doing, getting back to our deep dives, hopefully this weekend. I want to definitely make sure we do a Karen Reed marathon. Thank you for subscribing. Lots of new subbies. Welcome to Mellyverse. We do Melly After Dark. During the day, we cover true crime. During the night, we cover true crime. It's fun here. So make sure you do subscribe, do like. Shout out to all my mods for being here, all the replay viewers, all my friends, all of you. Love you. Thank you for supporting and being here. He's cooked. Diddy is done, in my opinion. But you never know. We'll see. I was shook on the first Karen Reed trial, so we can be shook here. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Make sure you, like I said, make sure you're back tomorrow watching. I had fun. Thank you.